Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Saltcast. We are back again for another week. I am your host, Alex. I'm here with Sebastian and Bert, my two co-hosts. Like always, we have a pretty cool episode here planned. We're going to talk about the Fallout series on Amazon. All 8 episodes dropped last week. We've seen all 8 of them, so we're going to give our thoughts and a review of that.
I actually want to go more in depth on this one than we normally do, so this might end up being long.
I don't know too much about the lore, but I'm excited.
Yeah, we'll see where this conversation takes us, and we'll kind of give our thoughts and go through the whole thing and kind of talk about it.
Starting with Bert's news.
Yeah, let's see what Bert got.
Absolutely nothing.
Nice.
Okay. Next up. Me. Number 1. I'm going to try and go through this fast. The Boys comes back in June. That's pretty exciting.
Hype. Yeah, that is cool.
Next. Apparently Monarch Legacy is getting a season 2. Not that I watched that, but I thought that was kind of interesting because I was okay mood towards the Godzilla Kong movie.
I liked the Monarch show. I did watch it. It was
apparently
pretty good.
It's getting a season 2.
Yeah, I thought it was decent.
I haven't watched it.
Yeah, me either. Neither, but I might watch it if the MonsterVerse stuff stays kind of interesting because I'm actually not hating it right now. So
yeah,
maybe
might be worth.
Smaller one. Star Wars is in Brawlhalla now. That's kind of funny because Brawlhalla is a weird game. It's like that one that feels like this super indie not very popular game, but it has huge IPs in it.
I know. There's a lot of DLC in that game.
Halo, Star Wars. I'm sure they got other things that I haven't seen too.
Is Bert in it?
No, not yet.
No, I don't think
popular
so.
enough. One day.
Next one. Battlefield 2042 has been unsupported.
Wow, that's tragic. Not really.
Isn't that a popular one?
That's good
or
news.
Is that not a popular one?
No. That's a terrible one.
Yeah.
Hip hip hooray.
That's the one where instead of making Battlefield, they're like, what if we made Overwatch?
Oh, gross.
And then it also just didn't work.
Unsurprising with the games nowadays, though. Since when do they work on release?
Yeah, so hopefully this means maybe we're only 2 to 4 years away from another Battlefield, and for the first time in 10 years, it might be good at launch.
I would
5
love,
was actually pretty good at the end.
Yeah, I would love for a Battlefield to be good and to play that. That would be so much fun.
I'd like to get into a Battlefield.
Good at launch, though, because 5 and 4 were both good, but years later, by the time they were good, I stopped playing them, so I never got to actually experience the fun of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's fair.
So, I want a good Battlefield, man. Battlefield 3. That was peak. And apparently Battlefield Bad Company too. Everyone loves that one, but I never played it.
Yeah, I loved 3. That was the one I played the most.
For a Battlefield to be good, I feel like even though the Battlefield 5 being in World War II and Battlefield 1 was okay as well, I feel like the best Battlefields are modern-ish warfare type Battlefields.
Yeah.
Plus or minus 20 years from now, I feel like our peak Battlefield
I think you
settings.
need planes.
Yeah.
Or
they all have
jets
planes.
and stuff.
Yeah, they all usually have planes. Or jets.
They don't all
planes.
have jets, but they do all have planes.
Sorry, that was an incomplete thought.
Yeah, I think I probably agree with you.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, Battlefield 5 I actually really liked when I played it 3 or 4 years after it launched, but at that point it was full of hackers and no one played, so I was like, this seems like it'd be really fun if people weren't flying around.
Mm-hmm.
It's like GTA 5 on the PC.
Not that bad.
Sure, at least you can actually load in the game and not get kicked out immediately.
Yeah, and people just get you banned in that. They just drop billions on you and then you get perma-banned.
Classic.
Next, apparently, you guys know the game The Crew?
Yes.
Yeah.
So Bert, this is where Bert's gonna be like, I knew it, and he's gonna like tighten his tinfoil hat.
Okay.
Apparently, Ubisoft has removed The Crew from everyone's libraries and discontinued the game.
This is why you buy your physical games when possible. Or at least, I don't know. The only online place I trust to buy my games is Steam. Because I know for a fact that even when they pull games off of the store, they still support the infrastructure to download the game. You know?
Yeah, I guess Steam would probably be the most trustworthy one if you had to choose.
Because who knows with Epic and Ubisoft. There you go.
Yeah. Ubisoft, did they pull it out of everything? Like it's not even on Steam or anything?
I don't know. I would think probably because even when you run it through Steam, it takes you to the Ubisoft launcher.
Yeah. That's what sucks about Ubisoft games.
The crazy part is that they just popped it out of people's libraries.
And I'm sure there's no refunds issued.
I don't know, but probably not. But luckily, I say luckily, you shouldn't excuse it, but I mean at least it's not as bad of a botting as it could have been because the game is literally useless anyways with the servers shut down. You know what I mean? Since it's an online only type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But still, kind of just a weird thing to do. Bad look.
Yeah. That's not a good
Especially
look.
because sometimes with games that their official servers go, communities a lot of the times will pick up the hosting and stuff just because of how much they enjoyed the game. Assuming
probably not through the Ubisoft.
Assuming it's optional. I know some of the old Call of Duties, the official servers had really bad hacking problems in recent times. So
they still do. It's dangerous to run Black Ops 3 online, or you could just get destroyed. People will hack your whole internet, destroy your PC, shut down your whole house.
So as a result of that, there's a bunch of communities out there that have made their own servers that you have to own BO3 in Steam or whatever.
But there's also it's a famous thing with Black Ops 3. There's this mod that people are you got to get that mod or you're going to get hacked and all your information will get leaked.
I don't know. When you remove a game,
that's crazy.
You kill the game. And games are a form of art too, I feel, and you don't want to get rid of someone's work.
Yeah. I do agree with that.
I never played The Crew.
Yeah, neither have I, but it's a shame that I can never play it now.
Play The Crew 2 for another year.
And so they get rid of that.
Until they do the same thing, probably.
Yeah.
He said I could never play it now. Oh my god, that's funny. Sad, but funny. But it makes you think, though, right?
Mm-hmm.
That is...
it's a very real thing.
That's unfortunate because, I don't know. I mean, I guess that game's somewhat old, but it's not like it's that old, you know? It's less than 10 years, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I've always thought of it as more of a modern game, or newer. Not new, but within the last 5 years.
I don't think it's a retro game.
Yeah, I think it came out around the time, it was one of the earlier next-gen Xbox One, PS4 games around that time.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, actually, now that I'm thinking back, I probably played it a little bit.
Well, you didn't play it enough, and now you can never play it
on
again.
my progress.
Yeah.
Unfortunate for you. Then I have some actual interesting facts here that make you think about this, because if the industry of gaming is working its way towards now, we don't want people playing older games because we want people playing these new live service games, right? So I saw this thing. It was actually a few different sites that were saying this. It was an IGN, a Kotaku, PC Gamer Games, but it was on a bunch of them. But apparently in 2023, 60% of playtime in just I guess it's between Xbox, PlayStation, Steam, everything. 60% of gamers' playtime is games older than 6 years.
That doesn't surprise me, honestly, especially because now, like, a lot of games that come out just aren't good. Or,
well, you know why that doesn't surprise me though?
why?
Because I bet you like a massive chunk of that is Fortnite and Minecraft.
That's true.
Probably, yeah, I would think. If I think about
Obviously,
my
both of
own,
those
like,
older than 6 years.
yeah, true. I think of like my own game, like the games that I play, they're all older games. Like with like almost all of them are older than 5
With the
years.
exception of Helldivers. All the games I'm playing right now are old.
That might be the only one, literally.
Like I'm replaying GTA 5. Gonna play Fallout New Vegas for the first time, mainly driven by the show.
I actually went through a period of time, it was probably 21 and 22, where I like was grinding old games. Like I played the original 3 Sonic, Sonic CD, the Sonic Adventure games, Sonic Heroes, all of the Sonics up until Sonic 06. I played Subnautica, which was older than 5 years at that point, barely, but it was. I started playing through the Borderlands. I obviously still continue to play the old Halo games that are definitely older than 5 years.
Yeah. That's another thing. Yeah, we replayed Halo recently, and I've had a blast for most of it.
Yeah,
I would agree.
But it's crazy to see that like the majority of gamers are playing, 6+ year old games. Now, like I said, obviously Fortnite and Minecraft probably are big sections of that, but still.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure that those take up a huge chunk of that number.
But I feel like it's some, but not all. I feel like a lot of...
No, yeah, not all, but it's probably got to be like at least somewhat of a significant number.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would think combined they have to be at least half of that 60.
Yeah, I'm sure the Master Chief
Really,
collection...
half seems like a lot.
No, I think it's half or more. Fortnite and Minecraft are like by far the most played games just right now. Like they have the most players. They're the most like actively updated.
Yeah, I guess maybe. It would be cool to see that split if they could actually get that data.
Yeah. It would be.
But then like same time, like newer games come out, I feel like most of the time they're disappointing. And if they're good, you play it and then you go back to your old game.
Waiting
after
for the
that.
next good one to come out.
Yeah.
Like I loved Spider-Man 2, but after I finished playing that, I kept playing Halo.
I haven't touched it since I finished the story.
Yeah, like I've been playing...
I loved Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah.
Went back to Halo.
I've been playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey for like the last couple months.
You know what also has just popped off in player numbers, obviously? Fallout 4.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure just because of the show.
I'm sure if all
to
the
point where actually
popular.
Fallout 4 popped off to the point now where it is getting a paid DLC expansion.
Fallout 4?
What, almost 10 years after it released?
That's insane.
I don't like that. That's such an obvious
Why?
money grab.
I mean, yes, but what if it's good?
Maybe. I mean, if it's good, okay. If it's how much are they asking for that paid DLC?
I'm not sure.
If it's more than $20,
I know that Fallout 4's DLCs are normally considered, well, like they're all pretty much considered like good or great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Nuka World one was really good.
Yeah. Pretty much Bethesda DLC usually tends to be good, but yeah, I guess interesting to see the price, but I think it's cool to see like that. I mean, I don't personally love Fallout 4, but that's kind of cool that it's getting an expansion.
Yeah.
Like almost 10 years later, 8 years later or something like that.
It's crazy that game is that old now.
Right? I remember literally skipping school I was so excited. Fallout 4 is coming out. I'm skipping school. I remember telling everyone in my geometry class, I'm like, I can't be here. I got to play Fallout 4. And then I came back the next day and I was like, It's all right, I guess.
I
remember the first time I played it was like around Christmas time, and Bert was visiting, and he watched me play it.
I remember staring at the box at the back of it, driving home from GameStop before playing it.
Did you ever even finish it, Bert?
No.
Of course
I didn't
not.
either. I didn't like it.
Well, I finished it.
Fallout 4 is the only one I haven't finished. Well, I never played 1 or 2, but Fallout 4 is the only one I never finished.
1 and 2 are
I do
like
have,
totally
like,
different, though.
I have like 100 hours in Fallout 4, though. Like, I played a lot of it. I just did mostly side stuff, I guess. I really can't remember much about it, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to play Fallout New Vegas, because I've heard that was pretty good.
That one is really good.
New Vegas is probably the best one, but the thing is, man, like, they are so old now, like,
they show.
It's tough.
Yeah, they are dated.
They definitely show. I also went back and I was like, I'm going to play Fallout 4. I've never beaten it. I'm going to try it. And Fallout 4 being the newest one, besides 76, and I was like, God damn, the faces are so bad. The textures are so bad. Like, this game looks like shit. People are so, like, obviously NPCs. And I was like, but I'll get past it because it's the world stuff that I love about Fallout. I played for like 20 minutes. My game crashed. And then I never played anymore.
That's tragic. It just works.
I got almost to the vault. I was like on my way up the hill. And that's when my game crashed. And I was like,
obviously the bomb dropped too close.
Yeah, I didn't make it in time.
You're too slow.
You got the alternate ending.
Okay, 2 more things, and then we'll get back to Fallout. These are a bit smaller. One of them actually is kind of a big deal that I think is cool. Steam is updating its family share with its games policy to be better, and it looks pretty cool.
How is it
actually
now?
Do you know how the family share works now?
You sign in to the other person's computer, and then you have to both check a box, right? Kind of.
You can like add someone's Steam account to your Steam account, pretty much. Share your games with someone, and they could play your games whenever you were offline on Steam. Now, you don't need to be offline. You can both play the games with both of you on. You just can't play the same game, which is reasonable. I mean, if it was a physical disc, you couldn't play the same game at the same time, so that makes sense to me.
I think that's very cool.
But that's pretty
especially
badass, I think.
Going back to the Ubisoft thing earlier and just getting rid of a game, I think this is a step in the opposite direction because it just gives gamers more ownership over their games. Because like back in the day, you used to be able to give your boy the disc for the weekend or something if you weren't playing the game.
Yeah, I remember stealing discs from one of our friends.
But like,
that's how I got Halo 1 and Mass Effect 2 and Just Cause 3 and Army of 2, the first one, not the 40th day. I took so many games from someone. I was a terrible person.
And I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like on like Xbox or PlayStation now, you can't really you can do like game share and stuff.
Well, Xbox's isn't bad actually. It's just like it's kind of like you have to work around, but like if you set your home Xbox, you can play all of that person's games on that Xbox, but you can only have that on one
that just
Xbox.
Sounds like
yeah,
finicky.
That's what I did. No, it's actually super easy.
But if you do it across multiple
because
Xboxes,
you actually there's no need for you. Well, no, but there's no need for you, the person who owns the game, to have your Xbox set as your home Xbox.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're logged into your account, you can play your games. So you don't need to have your Xbox your home Xbox. So basically, you could pick one Xbox for someone who's not using your account to have access to all your shit.
Yeah, which is kind of worth it, though.
That's cool. I don't know. I feel like
that's what I do.
Is nice, too. I like this way better. It just sounds...
Yeah. No, the Steam way is slightly better, yes, because you can add 5 people to your family, which I think is a reasonable number.
I'd say.
Yeah. And, like, you can play games at the same time. Everyone can, like, think about it, right? I guess we probably should do that. I got, like, 300 games in my Steam library that I could just let you guys play and it doesn't affect me at all.
Yeah, I've got 3.
Hey, you can have a lot more.
Yeah, maybe.
And then he can
set
play
that up.
Subnautica.
He could without buying it. Personally, though, I like to still buy my games because I like to have them myself.
It's a good way to try a game and then like, oh, I'm enjoying this. Let me buy it.
Yeah. The only things are, which I think are reasonable, like I said, you can't play the same
That's
game.
fair.
And you can't play, like, together. Well, I mean, I guess that's the same as playing the same game, you know?
I'm sure you could do like,
you know, if I bought Helldivers, you guys couldn't just both play Helldivers with me because you're sharing.
You're trying to play the same game. You can't do that.
I guess for multiplayer games, it wouldn't really be worth it.
You could do a lot of the time. Steam has a remote play together, and that works pretty decently.
Yes, they do have that too. As long as you have decent internet, or if you're on the same network, it's basically flawless.
Like I played, I played Cuphead with friends like that, and was like the one like remoting in, and it wasn't that bad.
Yeah, it's good. Steam, honestly, like I think they are so far ahead of everyone as far as like the user experience. Yeah. I think the Steam profiles are the coolest. I think the store is the coolest. I think that like the badges and achievements and stuff are the coolest.
There for it.
Yeah, you got like the community forums. If you're in a game, you could just shift tab and search up like things for your game right there without even leaving the game.
It is very nice.
And now you can share your games, apparently. The sales,
that's
of course. Thing. That's like the biggest thing about Steam. I'm excited for the summer sales. That's when you gotta build out your library to your new PC when the summer sales come along, and you could get the entire Assassin's Creed collection for like $10.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be worth.
So
it's an Ubisoft
cool thing for Steam.
Library.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, that part's gonna suck. Well, the older ones don't use the launcher, like Assassin's Creed 1, 2. So they might not pull those. Last thing, and the coolest thing. The voice for Shadow has been confirmed.
I saw this.
Who is it?
So I'm not upset with the choice. I still think Anakin Skywalker would have been better. But this is decent.
I think this is a great choice.
Sasuke?
Yes, this is a good choice. No, it's not Sasuke. That would be weird. No, that would actually be pretty cool. But it's Keanu Reeves.
Huh.
I think that'll work out.
Yeah, I love that choice. Yeah. I think Keanu Reeves is a great choice for that.
Yeah, I like it. I do like it. I'm still saying top pick Anakin Skywalker. But this is still a good
number 2. It's a solid second place.
I like it.
I love Keanu. I think he's great.
I do too.
And I think his voice is perfect for that.
I do think he's great, even though I'm kind of over the, what is it, Taken?
John Wick?
John Wick.
John Wick, that's what it is. Yeah, sorry.
They were good, but they're getting a little drunk.
They actually still are good.
They still have some of the best action sequences in like
the newest one though. The fighting was just non-stop.
That's like their whole thing.
I still enjoy them. I just feel like they need to just like give it a new name and start a new story because like this guy has gotten bodied too many times now.
True.
But that's my main stuff for the news. One final thing that I just realized yesterday, and I was so excited about though, and I'm definitely going Friday. The Spy X Family movie.
Did you see the thing on Crunchyroll?
Which one?
Splash screen saying it was coming out on Friday.
I did not. I saw an actual poster in real life.
You're in the real world?
Yeah, I know, but I was going to get food or something for like lunch, and I literally I was like, what? That can't be. And then I looked it up and I was like, it's true. It is coming out.
That's funny.
I never thought I'd see an anime movie poster in real life, though.
Yeah, that is like, except at the movie theaters.
Yeah, of course. Oh wait, I actually have one more thing. That is pretty cool. Baldur's Gate 3 has broken a new record.
Which one?
Baldur's Gate 3 is the first game in history to win every single major outlet's Game of the Year award.
Wow, that is very impressive.
I think that's deserved.
So, like, the IGN won, the GameSpot won, the Kotaku won, obviously the Game Awards won. Literally all of them.
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty
Well,
impressive.
I mean, when a game comes out and almost every developer is like, this game is too good to be released, it's bound to set some records,
Yeah,
I
right.
think.
But that's
Yeah.
awesome. First game in history to win every game. I mean, normally people are like, the only one that matters is the Game Awards one, but to win all of them is still a flex.
Noteworthy for sure.
It's the first time it's ever happened. And I doubt that will happen again. At least not for a long time.
I doubt in my lifetime. Maybe my grandkids.
So,
Yeah,
cool
you'd be
stuff.
surprised.
Baldur's Gate 3. Anyways, That's all my news. Wrap yours up and we'll move to Fallout.
I just have one thing. I don't know if you guys saw this. It was like a leaked image of Henry Cavill as Magneto.
Oh,
I
So
heard
apparently
that it
he-
was happening, but I didn't see an image.
that's cool.
Yeah, he looked good. It's like a concept image. He looked really good. He looked like the Magneto from X-Men
I
97.
think he's going to be advocating
He has pink.
for the comics. I
Huh?
think he's going to try to be advocating for the comics to make sure they're more accurate,
Yeah.
like he did with The
I'm
Witcher.
sure, yeah.
That's his whole thing.
It's true. What's his hope?
I mean, Marvel's pretty comic accurate, though, as already, so...
I mean, She-Hulk wasn't. They didn't even read the comics.
She-Hulk was very accurate to how She-Hulk is in the comics.
Is she green in the comics?
That's true.
Yeah.
Nice.
Barrett, I don't think you've read much She-Hulk.
No. But
I haven't read any Marvel comics. Not a single one.
Well, She-Hulk definitely is very similar to how she is in the show.
It's the other people that are annoying in She-Hulk then, is it?
I don't know,
haven't
I
seen
guess.
She-Hulk.
But She-Hulk's whole vibe is just way different, so probably bothered a lot of people.
I guess.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
I don't know. I think twerking's a bit much.
I don't know.
Like,
She-Hulk is always so sexual in the comics. She always is doing things like that.
because it's made for nerds.
Do it off screen then. My virgin eyes.
Yeah, and my family's around.
That's what Bert's saying.
But yeah, watch X-Men 97. The last episode that was released was freaking amazing.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
To be
It
honest,
might be.
the previous one kind of put me off. I was like, that was boring, and then I just haven't kept up since then.
Well, the director
Mojo
said
one.
that. Yeah, the director said that episode 5 is just the beginning of their the peak of what the show's going to be.
Actual story.
They said, they said episode 6 is like a little in between, and then 7 and 8, and I don't know if it's going past 8, but if there's more, they said like those last few are gonna go crazy, and that's saying something. If 5 was like the beginning, because 5 was freaking peak. 5 was insane. It might be the single best episode of anything that they've done on Disney Plus. Like if you just look at every individual episode of every show, it might be the best one. And that means like all the episodes of Loki, all the episodes of like whatever other your favorite show is, Hawkeye, WandaVision, What If, whatever.
I mean,
Like,
I like Hawkeye. Like, it's a solid. I think it's like a good overall watch, but I was never like, this is legendary cinema type, like best of the world. Like, it's the best of the Marvel shows. I think it's really good, but I wasn't like, holy shit, this is amazing.
This is an Emmy winner for sure.
no.
Yeah, I never thought
You'll
that.
watch episode 5 and you'll be like, holy shit, that was fucking awesome.
Okay.
Gosh, there's so many things I want to say, but I can't.
I actually just remembered something because we were talking about like this is a legendary thing. I just remembered something. So for some reason right now movies are like popping off with bringing back old movies. The Spider-Man ones are back.
Shrek
and
is in
Shrek
theaters.
has been back too. And did you see that Shrek 2 box office in its re-release more than like the last 3 Pixar movies
That's
have?
actually hysterical.
That's funny.
Shrek 2, though, I'm not going to lie. The perfect
Shrek 2
sequel.
is peak. That's the Shrek 2. I mean, everyone says it's good, but I don't know why the first one is more iconic to people. 2 is like 10 times as good.
I think I've seen 1
2
more,
is
but 2 is
significantly
definitely
funnier.
better.
Shrek 2 is hilarious.
2
He's got
is so
catnip.
funny.
Quick, pepper him. And they just
Pepper
put a
him.
pepper grinder in his face. He's
Yeah,
got
that's
catnip.
good.
That's not mine.
Not mine.
And then he like turns the giant gingerbread man and the moat of milk.
And then I Need a Hero.
Shrek 2 is
starts
so
playing.
goddamn good. Yes.
Fucking the fairy godmother singing her soul out. Man,
Shrek 2 is
I
great.
love that.
So pretty honestly insane that it is doing better than, a lot of new releases.
Mm-hmm.
With it being like, what, 20 years old or something like that?
Just about.
Something like that.
I wonder how. I'm curious to see how the Spider-Man movies are doing. I would love it if they all like outperformed recent Marvel movies.
Yeah, that would be
With the
pretty
exceptions
impressive.
of like
I don't,
obviously
$1 billion
Spider-Verse and
I don't think that's
Guardians.
going to happen.
they could beat the Marvels.
They might be able to beat the Marvels. That might be the only one.
The
And
Toby
they'll
ones
definitely
at
beat
least.
Madam
And
Web.
No Way Home will probably pop off again.
Yeah. Yeah, probably. All right, well, that's all the news stuff. Let's get into Fallout. If you guys are
Okay.
ready.
I am.
I kind of want to go an episode at a time, or at least like we'll go through the first ones a little faster. But for the last 4, at least an episode at a time.
Yeah. So before we really get into it,
I'll let you kind of lead it.
I just
then.
wanted to say one thing. Episode 1 I thought was weird, but then I started really liking the show by episode like 2 or 3.
So, just a general overview thing that I want to say before we get into it. I actually felt like every single episode got better up to episode 5. I feel like it improved every time.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I think so.
I see that.
And
Yeah.
then for me at least, it was like every single episode got better up to episode 5. Episode 6 dropped, and then episode 7 and 8 were good again. That's kind of how I felt.
Yeah, I thought it kind of plateaued from 6 to 7. And then I thought the
it might
finale
have been
was
the last
good.
half of 7 that was good.
Yeah, I thought the last episode was like good enough to like kind of wrap things up.
I watched the whole show in one night, so it's kind of hard for me.
I would have if I wasn't watching with
It
people.
was kind of hard for me to separate the episodes in my head.
So
Yeah.
there's a couple of things though that before we get into it that I wanted to mention. First of all, I saw this thing that honestly I thought was kind of like at first I was like, oh, this is cool, and then it ended pretty sad because I saw like interviews with the cast and people were like talking to them about the show or whatever, and they were talking to like the main actress, the Vault Dweller girl.
Mhm.
And they're like, yeah, blah, whatever. How'd you prepare for this role? And she's like, oh, so I played through the games. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. She's like, yeah, they're pretty cool. I really liked them. And then this is where it got sad. Then the reporter was like, played the games? Isn't that a waste of time?
Wow.
Who asked that question?
I don't know. I just some reporter. I have no idea. But I
It
was
would have
like
been
watching.
cool to know who, what
News outlet.
media outlet was asking that. Yeah.
Yeah, but I was like, what? She's like saying the right stuff, and then the reporter's like, didn't you waste your time with that or something like that? But then she came back, she's like, what? No, it was awesome.
Yeah, well, I feel like
Of course it wasn't a waste of time.
I feel like a lot of people nowadays don't look at the source material. So she kind of stuck out. And that's why the news reporter was calling her out for it.
That's crazy,
Maybe.
though. That's crazy.
But she did the right
Like,
thing.
No wonder
Yeah.
freaking like the Halo guy is always saying
He
dumb
has his
shit
helmet
because
off.
the reporters are constantly telling him that everyone's always telling him it's a waste of time to play the games or to know anything about it. Then someone actually does go and play the game and they're like, what a waste of time.
What an idiot. Why would you waste
Yeah.
your time?
What did you guys think of the art style and everything?
The music was
I thought it was
awesome.
perfect.
I loved the soundtrack in
Everything visually, minus one thing, everything was perfect. That one thing
Yeah.
is that guy's face at the end.
With who?
The dad. young dad.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Oh, you could tell the de-aging thing.
That was terrible. But besides that, like none of
I wasn't talking about like CGI stuff. I meant more like art style stuff.
The world design.
Oh, art style, perfect. Perfect.
Yeah, I thought it was very good.
I thought it was perfect too.
As Homelander would say, down to the last minute detail.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect.
Yeah, I thought it was super good. From the color palette to like
Everything
the
was
costume
perfect.
design,
Sound,
like everything was really
playing.
good.
You know
Some of the sets.
Oh man.
Yeah, you know what's crazy? So, like he said, obviously the big things looked right. The power armor, the Volt suit, the Volts. But then you get into the smaller things, right? All the sound effects were the game.
Yeah, the stim packs.
All the weapons are the game. All of the freaking chems are the game. Like it's not like the Halo show where half of the guns are just an AK or an M16. Like use the fucking
they're just stock
Halo
audio.
guns.
Mm-hmm. It's actual props that you can find. Like everything that you see in the show, you can find in the game.
There's not a single gun they use that isn't a gun from Fallout, one of the Fallout games. And they all use the gun sound effects from the games too.
Yeah, no, I agree. It was super cool to see all of that. Even just the color palette and stuff of the world was like cool to see. Like it changed when they got to like cities and different places and towns, and then when you're out in the wasteland, like all that from the vaults, like all that stuff.
And then a step further, Bert, you wouldn't have noticed this because you aren't very familiar with the games, but so all that stuff already very accurate, and it's like, wow, that's impressive. The freaking background piles of garbage I've seen, I'm watching the show, and I'm like, holy shit, it's that pile of desks that I know from the game that they copy paste all over the games. That's literally that garbage pile from the game.
That garbage pile made a cameo.
They're like the freaking, I forget what it's called, Giddy Up Buttercup. You see a few times that random rocking horse.
Oh yeah, the rocking horse.
The little car, like just garbage on the floor, is like random props from the game.
Yeah, the most obvious one they were pointing out was the bobblehead for the Volt Tech guy.
Yeah, well,
that's a big one.
Though.
That's a big one. I'm talking about literally just a pile of trash.
No, I know. I'm agreeing. I think it's
the
very
exact
cool.
same model.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And then, like you were saying, Bert, all of the music was great.
I know. I want to find the music and like just have it for myself.
There's only one song that I really wish they would have had in there, and it would have been great for like a montage. You know the one, I don't know the name, but the like keep hacking and whacking one.
Oh yeah. That one would have been good in like a fight scene.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not like it goes down at all for me. Like there's so many other songs that are good that they used that it's like, all right.
Yeah.
No, they used all the Fallout music. It was great. Even the aesthetic from the flashback scenes, like the 40s aesthetic was like super cool to see and accurate. I like that.
Even the Pip Boys looked pretty good.
That's honestly the best the Pip Boys have ever looked. Better than the games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they had the hacking. They did the hacking thing, right?
Yeah, exactly the same. But
they did a lot of stuff like that.
And then there's a lot. But here's something else that is cool. Like obviously they have the music from Fallout, but like the radio music as well. Like you're saying, they have the Set the World on Fire, all that stuff. But they even have like the non-radio music, like the actual game specific soundtrack stuff. Like the Fallout theme.
Yeah.
It didn't actually come on that much, but it came on towards the end. It came
on like twice,
and it hit so hard when it came on.
Yeah, I was like, ooh, chills.
When it did the Fallout theme, I was like, wow. I at first I was like, man, I kind of wish they used the Fallout theme. And then, but when they saved it for like the moments they did, I was like, I'm actually happy that it had the effect it did.
They were playing their cards close to their chest.
Yeah.
So pretty cool. Here's something I wish I wouldn't have told him before, and I would have told him on the pod to get his reaction because it was hilarious. A character that grew on me, and he didn't even realize it was this guy, Rico from Hannah Montana.
I would have figured it out eventually. I would have seen the credits and I would have known.
No,
his
the
name.
brother.
Oh, yeah, I did recognize him.
Yeah,
I forgot what
he.
Yeah.
I never disliked him, but I was just like whatever towards him. But in the last half, he became one of my top characters. I was like, man, I really like Norm.
Dude, when he called that one guy a coward,
I liked him
I was
too.
like, this guy's awesome.
Oh, I love
he
Norm.
was good. You know what I thought was funny one time, or that I kept thinking of whenever it happened, like when she was talking. What the fuck's her name? I already forgot the main character's name.
Lucy.
You guys remember? Lucy, yeah. When Lucy was talking to the overseer of that one vault that they found, and she like asks something, and the guy's like, "No." All I could think of is, oh wow, she just failed her speech check right there. Like I was just thinking of little Fallout things. I was like, that's so.
There was conversations where it felt like it was speech checks, like when he was trying to like talk on the radio to the Brotherhood of Steel. It felt like a speech check thing,
dude.
Yeah, I know. I thought about that too.
I actually have like watched specific scenes over on YouTube, and I saw some funny ass comments on some of them, like the one with Maximus where he's like, "You want to make my cock explode now?" People are like, "Dude has the zero charisma build."
Do you know another thing I was thinking about?
Yeah,
when the old lady was kicking her out, or Lucy out of the shop, and Lucy kept like trying to turn around and talk to her, and she kept just saying "go away." It's like in like the actual game when you try to like keep talking to an NPC and they had nothing
you've
else.
Exhausted all dialogue
they
options.
just repeat the "oh, you can leave now" sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was funny.
Oh my god, it was great. I really loved it.
It really felt like a Fallout world. Like it felt like it was ripped straight from one of the games. So that that alone I liked it a lot for. So
without specifics, just an overall looking at the whole show, is there anything that you guys think like, oh, I wish it would have done this a little more? Because I have a couple things. None of them are like huge, oh, I hated it because of this, but I feel like I felt like the comedy was fine. It's not like I disliked it, but I wish that it had more like horror-ish moments.
Yeah.
I think I kind of agree with you. I liked the comedy up until like episode maybe 6 and 7, and then a little bit
that I was kind of like, eh.
Yeah, I feel like we were on a track. Like there was a really good pace and build up to like that point, and then I looked it up, and the directors actually changed for those 2 episodes, and the whole tone of the show kind of changed at that point too. Like it became way more jokey and like funny, but in like a non-serious way, where it kind of like rubbed me the wrong way when I felt like we were building. I didn't have a problem
with it, like the jokes themselves. I just felt like there was too many of them.
I had a problem with some of them. Like I can't think of them off the top of my head, but I do remember like rolling my eyes and being like, I wish they would like be a little serious right now, because we just built up to like this serious moment, and then it kind of was like brushed off.
I remember getting that feeling in the one vault Lucy fell into.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That was my least favorite episode. About. That vault,
which sucked because it felt like we were about to like.
Good.
Started off
it felt like we were about to like see something
and
crazy.
Then shit got weird, and then it just got like, okay, what's going on?
And then it was just resolved, and it was like, all right, let's get back to the main quest.
Yeah. That was, for me, the only thing was that. And then also, I feel like the second half had a lack of creatures.
Yeah, I guess maybe a little bit. But I don't know. That didn't really bother me.
Yeah, there wasn't that many creatures. I mean, there was a good amount, but nothing like... Like he would have come across more roaming the desert.
For me, like the only episode that I would like have trouble watching again is episode 6, where they're in that vault.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
You know what's been kind of...
I think that was where it lost some points for me, is at that
something point. Kind of funny is that my parents were watching it after me, and my dad was so incapable of using his phone that they started on episode 8 and then went back to episode 6, then episode 2, and then they went back to episode 1, and that was their watch order.
What the hell?
What the heck?
They weren't confused?
They were, and the entire time my mom would be messaging me being like, what's going on? And I'm like, Mom, what episode are you on? And she's like, 6. And I'm like, why are you on 6? You need to go to 1. And she's like, that's what your father put on.
Because I feel...
And I was like, that's probably about to say the same thing as me, where like it ruined the show for her, because it brought up so many like confusions and questions and there was just no like answers for her.
So
that would ruin the show for anyone.
Here's an opinion I have about this show that I think is kind of interesting. It's hard to say, like, who do you think would like it more, someone who knows Fallout or someone who doesn't? Because I feel like obviously knowing it's cool, like, oh, I know that thing, I know this thing, oh, I know this thing, but at the same time, like, at the end of the day, I always knew, like, Vaults are gonna fuck them, so the like, this is gonna be bad because of this. Roughly had an idea of where it was going.
Mm-hmm. So
I think I had like a similar thing where I felt like I kind of knew general direction of how things were going to play out, but they did surprise me in like a couple ways where it kept me kind of guessing a little bit. So it wasn't like I was totally like knew everything that was about to happen.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying though, for like someone who knows nothing about Fallout, I feel like it's probably awesome.
yeah, so
that had to be great.
I asked my mom what she thought, like minus the whole confusion. Like once they watched it in order, I asked her what she thought of the show, and she was like, "It's a little weird." Keep in mind they're older, but she was like, "I'd watch more. It was pretty good." And for me, that's a high rating.
I mean, it
for
is.
them. Isn't that any?
It is definitely weird.
Yeah, it is.
You know.
But yeah.
Thing is, though, like at least for me personally, I absolutely love cringe comedy. So like, Lucy is hilarious to me. I find it so goddamn funny when she's like on the surface being stupid.
Mm-hmm. I find it really funny when she was being super like righteous almost, and like they like everyone's like fucking.
It kind of sucks, but like, yeah, like I get that it has to happen, but it kind of sucks that it seems like she's now out of that what do you call it, naive state probably for season 2.
I mean, it kind of has to be. Like, there would be no character development.
It makes sense, but man, I just loved it. So, those are like my full thing overviews. If we want, we can get into episode 1 now. And episode 1, after watching it, I was like, yeah, I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. It was all right. I'm interested to see where it's going to keep going. But I felt like, I guess it's important for like people that know nothing about Fallout, but it's like, man, I really just want to get out of the vault is kind of how I felt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I kind of, yeah,
I
guess a little bit.
Setting up
I liked
stakes.
episode. Yeah, it didn't set up stakes really, but it set up the world and it set up the characters and everything like that. That's what I liked the most. I liked that the fact that they gave each character like some time to breathe, and we were getting familiar with what was going on in the world and like all that stuff. So
yeah,
it made me care about everything.
For anyone who's not familiar with Fallout, like more understanding of why Lucy is so weird.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah,
and
definitely.
honestly, even amongst the Vault people, she's kind of weird. Like, I feel like her brother is way more normal than her.
I mean, all the Vault dwellers are kind of
her
weird.
Her brother's normal, but all the Vault dwellers are just weird. And then Lucy's just extra weird. But for a different reason.
Yeah. So it was decent. I do have one confusing thing. Maybe I missed it or something, but due to how it ends, who the hell were those guys she was with? Because they were clearly not NCR troops.
Oh, which guys?
The guys dressed as raiders, and that they caught and were still acting like raiders. Were they actually raiders?
I think so. I think Moldaver kind of hired like a group of raiders or something like that. That's like the impression that I got. They were definitely raiders.
Yeah, they were not NCR troops.
No, yeah. I think that Moldaver probably hired raiders.
I guess that is kind of adding up. Really, she should have just... I guess they wouldn't believe her. Okay, I'm okay with the plot, actually. I was gonna say, like, she should have just told Lucy from the beginning, but she wouldn't have believed her until after seeing the wasteland anyways, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah, I agree. All right, do you want to like go through the episode breakdown then? Because I'm not going to be able to remember each episode like well enough to know what is what, because it's kind of all blending together for me.
Okay, so episode 1 is mostly the Vault. I think you get like a scene of Maximus, but not much. And then episode 2 is more about Maximus. It's like his brotherhood life before he leaves. I think it ends with him actually leaving and becoming a squire.
Yeah, I think that's how it sets up, and I think Lucy also kind of sets out after at that point.
Yeah. So as far as episode 1 though, just you guys, what were your, like, you liked it, didn't like it? How was it?
I liked episode 1. I thought it did exactly what it needed to do, set the world up, gave us like the characters and let us know what they were all about, and kind of like got the ball rolling on everything. So I thought episode 1 was pretty good.
It was pretty good.
Bert?
I wish we got out of the vault a bit sooner, but I understand why we weren't in a rush to leave. That makes sense.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, for me, like, yeah, it was above middle of the road, but it wasn't amazing. I think 2 then picked it up a little more because you get to see the Brotherhood, you get to see the actual wasteland, you get to see more characters that aren't Vault Dwellers.
Yes.
But then at the same time, I felt similar to episode 1 and episode 2 because a lot of it is spent on like the Brotherhood base. So I was still like, I want to see the real wasteland, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I thought that that's what the show did well, though, was like in the beginning, especially, was the pace. Like they gave us just enough to like keep everybody interested while still like fleshing out the world and the characters. So I liked that.
Yeah, I agree. And then, dang, I'm trying to, I believe episode 1 or episode 2 also though has that fight with the Yao Guai. Or is that 3? I'm not sure.
I can't remember. I don't know.
Well, anyways, we'll just go forward, right? So we get to the point where Maximus becomes a squire. He goes out with his knight guy, and they're supposed to be looking for some guy, which I think we do like get a poster or something of him that shows who he is, but we don't get his backstory until episode 3.
Like his bounties.
That's episode 3.
His bounties being called in.
Oh, sorry.
And they're
Yes,
like
you're right.
filling in a little like grid thing, and it's some old dude. With
so
glasses.
they're like, he's in this area somewhere. So they send some knights out to go looking for him.
I thought that he got like a part in episode 1 or 2 where he kind of like got his backstory. Like they had the name tag thing, you know, like they had the Lucy tag, then they had the Maximus tag, and then they had this guy's tag.
No, I don't think they did.
I thought that was episode 3, but
I think
whatever. We won't go by episode. We'll just go by story, right? So then at some point, you know, they're all looking for him, and you do get a section with him,
with his dog,
and he is with his dog, and they're like camping out somewhere in the woods.
Lucy's out when Lucy sets out on the vault to find her dad. She's camping the first night, and he wakes her up,
yes,
and he's like, "You shouldn't have a fire out here. What are you, an idiot?"
Yeah.
And then,
but didn't we get like stuff with the Enclave though before all that?
Yeah, but same thing with Bert's. That's later, because first this guy's camping out like
with Lucy,
somewhere.
Because
on his own.
No, we first see him with
I
Lucy.
don't think that's
and Lucy's like, "Who are you?" And like, "How do you know my name?" and stuff. And he's like, "Don't worry about that." And then, he walks off with his dog into the night. And then they run into each other into the town the next day.
But I think between those parts is where he camps out and runs into the Brotherhood.
I don't even remember him running into the Brotherhood.
I know what you're talking about.
He doesn't exactly run into them, but they track him to that cave of the Yao Guai.
Yeah, but
that's
that was
later.
All the Enclave stuff
that's
happened.
After they get to
all the Enclave stuff happened before that.
Oh wait, no, you're right.
No, that definitely happens before the town, or Maximus wouldn't have the armor.
It happens in parallel, like as Lucy's.
Yeah, I think
Lucy's
he meets
doing
her
thing.
I'm right. He meets her at night, like you said. After that, he goes and camps out. Then they come. The Brotherhood guys drop down there. They're like, "Oh, it looks like someone's camping here with a dog. Could be the target." They go into the cave.
Okay, you're right.
And then after that whole cave situation, they all end up at the town.
Just at different times.
So with the cave thing, right? Maximus's knight is like, hey, drop me in this random location.
I'm bored.
I just want to kill something. And then this is kind of bullshit, just saying. In this random forest he drops, happens to be perfectly exactly where the target they're looking for is, but whatever.
No, he gets dropped into the mountain area, and then it's implied that they're walking for a while. And then it cuts to them being in a forest.
But they're just like randomly walking, not looking for the guy, just trying to kill
stumble
something.
Across him, which is kind of...
Yeah.
That actually happens a lot in this show.
I don't think it happened as much as you think, because
a lot of the people were looking for the same things. They were just calling it different stuff.
I will mention every time it happened, and you'll be like, huh, that's weird that happened again. But anyways, so Maximus's knight has an encounter with a Yao Guai. Basically, we also see that Maximus's knight is an asshole, and he doesn't care about Maximus. He sends him pretty much to die to whatever's in this cave, because they don't know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of wish they wouldn't have shown that it was a Yao Guai in the trailer, because I knew it was going to be a Yao Guai the whole time.
I didn't even see the trailer.
No, I didn't see the trailer. Yeah.
Well, that must have been better for you then.
It was. I was like, that's a big bear.
So then Yao Guai attacks the knight and bodies him very badly. And you see that, honestly, this knight sucks ass. How did he not kill a Yao Guai with power armor and a machine
Especially
gun?
because later we see how strong the power armor is. All he had to do was just throw a rock at the bear.
Well, I mean, you wouldn't... You probably would in the games, obviously, not exactly like the games, but you would probably struggle to kill one with just your hands. But I mean,
but in the show,
you wouldn't die. You would just like punch it forever until it dies.
Yeah, but with how strong the power armor is, you can just literally punch it and then punch a hole through it. I feel like can't be that strong.
This guy's an asshole. He's about to die, and he's like, "Give me a stim pack." And Maximus is like, "Nah,
I don't feel like it."
That guy's stupid though. Why? Like, he was shitting on this guy while he was like dying and desperately needed help. Like, wait 10 minutes, bro. Wait 50 seconds. Get the stim pack, then
exactly.
Shit on him. Like, what an idiot!
Don't call the guy that.
I'm glad they.
Never mind.
I'm glad that they didn't overuse the stim pack thing, because they could have easily, like, right away just healed everybody with stim packs, like, because they did it in the beginning with Lucy. Like, she used a stim pack on like a stab. Like,
yeah, well, I think the way they're getting around it is that stim packs are just very rare. Like, obviously obviously the Vault would have it, obviously the Brother would have it, but I don't think we ever saw another one besides those two factions.
When Lucy used the stim pack, she still stapled her stab wound shut. And it could just be like an adrenaline thing, too.
I mean, who knows what their logic is.
There probably is lore behind the stim pack that we don't know.
Yeah, probably.
But anyway, so this guy's now dead, so Maximus is like, well, free armor.
Nice.
Honestly, I like Maximus, guys. I'm a fan.
I'm conflicted with him.
I liked him.
He's kind of a dick.
I feel like everybody's a dick, though.
I feel like he is. I forget what they're called. I think they go by like the D&D stuff. I feel like he's a lawful neutral.
Yeah, and I guess for growing up in the wasteland and stuff, you would be a bit more selfish than if you grew up in like an actual like civilized society or whatever. Which I get.
And even at the same time, I don't feel like he might even be good. Like, he does want to help people.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does. I think that it showed more that this version of the Brotherhood is like more fucked up. Like, this version of the Brotherhood is definitely like not peak Brotherhood.
I think that's what the confusion with me was. It's like he was betraying
Brotherhood's
his Brotherhood.
Never supposed to be good.
But like at first,
I mean, they're not necessarily good or bad, but this version is like more extreme, and I think doesn't like follow their ideals as like well as other versions of the Brotherhood.
I'm thinking season 2 is going to be more focused on him, like, coming to terms with, like, the Brotherhood's not actually as good as I thought.
Yeah, I think this version of the Brotherhood's gonna be the bad, like one of the antagonists.
So we'll have to see. But Maximus gets his armor, and then everyone convenes at the... Well, actually, we also get a scene towards the end of this episode where the ghoul guy... What's his name? His name is the ghoul. No, he has
how
a
they
name.
introduce him.
It's,
but it's the actor guy. I forgot his name.
Is it Cooper?
Yeah, he is introduced at the end of this of episode 2.
He's the best character in the
whenever,
show.
He's not in it that
whenever
much.
Cooper, like any like character in the show, calls Cooper the Ghoul, but his name before the bomb is Cooper.
That's actually a good point that we didn't talk about. In episode 1, there's like a pre-bomb dropping scene. What'd you guys think of that?
That was...
I liked it. I always like everything in Fallout that does stuff before the bombs drop. I always think that it's super interesting.
I think it was cool watching that one guy punch the other dude in the face so he couldn't get in his bunker. Because that is absolutely something that would happen. Like, no doubt in my mind.
That was funny.
Yeah. Yeah, what would have actually happened, though, just saying, everyone would have been swarming that guy's bunker. They wouldn't have gotten their cars and drove away unless they're stupid.
Well, those bombs were very close. Like, less than a mile, that last one.
Yeah. I mean, the world got fucked. So it was cool. I liked it. I thought it visually looked good. I like that they didn't just use one bomb because it's supposed to be multiple bombs. So they got that good.
Yeah, there's no way they were just going to use
one. They were
one.
not shy about it.
I wouldn't be surprised,
Yeah.
But they didn't. They used multiple bombs. It was good. Stuff got blown up. The world ended. And there are a lot of questions left after that scene. Like, we'll have to see as the show goes on, but I liked it. So then we're finally getting more of him in episode 2, end of episode 2, where he comes back. And this part was a little weird to me, I guess. He's like buried for some reason. I guess like they just dig him up randomly, and like he's apparently too powerful in the world.
I think he just like got in some trouble or something, and that's how
I think it was.
He got there.
That he
because he's a bounty hunter.
He was in like a guard.
So he probably pissed somebody off.
Like he was in like a prison.
So he pissed someone off. And then someone else wanted him to get a bounty, which was the same guy that everyone's looking for. And they're like, "Hey, help us find this guy." And he's like, "I'll find him, but for myself." Bam, shoots them, kills them in a very cool scene. He's so
they do
badass.
a thing with a chicken.
Yeah,
because they're
good.
worried about him being a feral ghoul. And they're like, "Don't worry, we have this safety chicken. If he goes for the chicken, we'll kill him." And then after he kills the people, he picks up the chicken, pets it, and walks off.
Yeah.
Just thought that was funny.
Yeah, that was good. So he had a good scene there. And then, like we said, next episode, everyone meets up in the town that I forget the name of, but it's like really the only town around in this area. And it looks awesome. It looks like it's straight out of the games. Very like Megaton vibes without the bomb.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got the same feeling.
So the town looks great. There are some really good scenes in the town too. So like Bert said earlier, Lucy talking to the random store owner, like felt like it was out of the games. Maximus talking to, well, that's later actually. Never mind about that. But yeah, Lucy talking to that was good. Then what's his name? I don't even think we know his name, but scientist hat dog guy. He shows up. And that's when we start finding out a little more about him. So Lucy is like, talking to this guy. Apparently he needs to get somewhere. Lucy is obviously looking for the guy that stole her dad from the vault in the beginning of the show.
It's not a guy, it's Moldaver.
Yeah, that's what sorry. The lady, the people, the group, I guess.
Yeah.
And so she's like obviously just asking questions to random people in town. Everyone seems to know the name and is not a fan of this person, which actually, looking back at it, makes sense because guess I don't know how familiar you guys are with Fallout lore, but the NCR was like in Fallout New Vegas known for unwillingly like gathering people to join their like NCR group.
Yeah, the NCR is like sometimes not the best group. But I think overall the NCR is like generally one of the better like factions in the Fallout world.
I don't know much about the factions.
Well, the NCR was started by like people who left a vault in like way earlier, and basically they were doing the plan of the plan that they tell the vaults, even though it's not true for all of them. They were building up society again. They actually got fairly big, as you see in the show. They had a president. They had like a democracy. People voted for like leaders and board members, or not board members.
Yeah, they had like, a Senate, a Congress, everything. You see a lot of it in
New
Vegas. You even see the president in New Vegas.
Yeah.
So you see a lot of that
They mentioned
stuff.
Shady Sands too in New Vegas a lot. Like the president comes from Shady Sands.
Yeah, so I'll get into that later. But so it actually makes sense. Like at first you're thinking, oh, people don't like him because it's a criminal, but it kind of makes sense with like the NCR being known for like annexing towns and stuff to join the NCR. So it kind of makes sense, I guess. Also, if she is working with raiders, that also is bad.
Yeah, and I mean at this point, it's been years since the Shady Sands thing happened. So like, who knows what she's been doing since then? Like, I'm sure she was a great member of the NCR society or whatever. But then when that event happened, I'm sure bad things followed.
So
another thing though with her, like she had to have been like consistently in like cryo freeze too, because she is from
before
times, yeah. So she was also in like cryo at some point.
Mm-hmm. So there's also a section where we get a flashback of Dog Guy, which is kind of crazy because we see them throwing puppies into an incinerator.
Yeah, that was crazy.
I know, that made me so sad. I was like, oh, look at the little
like,
puppy. Actually, one thing I'm thinking about, this show was not afraid to kill cute animals. Like a deer died, like a baby deer.
Oh yeah, the little baby deer. Yeah.
The puppy thing was crazy. They're just weighing puppies. Any puppies under 10 ounces to be incinerated.
Yeah, and they just throw them in the incinerator by the handful.
Scales, literally.
Yeah, and then the guy's like, oh shit, it's off. And he just, all right, 10 ounces. And then he kept the dog so that you get... Really, it's more the backstory of the dog meat than it is the scientist.
Well, yeah.
Well, there's like a lot of Enclave stuff going on with that. You see why the scientist is
important.
Yeah, you see why he's important, but really it's Dogmeat's backstory.
Yeah, this bit is.
But that added like a piece to the world too because of the Enclave stuff. That means the Enclave are the ones that like developed the cold fusion thing. Because that's where it came from.
Yes, kind of. I mean, it's all... Fallout lore gets retconned a lot, so it's kind of confusing. And this show also makes it even more confusing. We'll get into that at the end, but for now, let's just go through the episode. So it is cool. You see an Enclave base. This guy basically defects from the Enclave. He takes something that at this point we don't know what it is, but like you said, it ends up being cold fusion in some way in a little bottle or something, but it teaches them cold fusion somehow. I'm not a scientist. I don't know how it works. And he escapes. And this, honestly, this was the worst scene of the whole show for me. That turret missing every single shot on him and the dog.
Was so funny.
Looked so goddamn stupid.
It was funny.
I thought it was funny.
Looked so dumb. But cool that it looked just like an Enclave turret.
True. It even said keep calm, remain still. See why you need to remain still with an aim like that.
You've changed my mind. I now like the scene because it saying that makes it funny. I'm convinced. You've convinced me. It saying that now makes it funny. Keep calm and keep still, and then it missing like that.
He was panicking and running.
Yeah, he did not. He did not keep still, so it missed. It makes sense. Okay, we're good. Yeah. So you see the history of Dogmeat. They break out, escape with the cold fusion, and that's how they're they're now being tracked by obviously the Enclave, probably, but we don't actually see that. The NCR somehow heard about this. The Brotherhood somehow heard about this. And then, I guess the bounties probably are from the Enclave. That's probably where that comes from.
Yeah, I would think.
They mention where it came from, and I want to say it is the Enclave.
Yeah, so this guy's got everyone after him. Lucy is like, well, that sucks, man, but I gotta go. And they're like, wait. You find out that this random store owner has made a deal with him to get him delivered to Moldaver. When she's like, holy shit, that's where I need to go. I'll take him so that they accept me in to see this person.
Yeah. Well, Lucy's looking for Moldaver. Like, that's who she's looking for. She says the name everywhere she goes.
And that's why, like, this guy running into him, he's trying to go there. She's like, it works out perfectly. And then we get a game-ass scene where they add it to our map.
Yeah.
Which I loved.
Added. That was pretty good.
Yeah. They add a quest to our map, and it had the sound of you getting a new quest.
Yeah, I loved it.
Which was awesome. So that was cool. And then it's like, all right. I can't remember when this happened. It might be later, but I just want to mention it now because I remember there's a point where she like mentions, I've been trying to get here, but I keep getting sidetracked on like side quests or something. She says specifically.
The ghoul says something like that too, in like I think it's like episode 4, where he all his chems get destroyed, and he's like, leave it to the wasteland to take you on some fucked up side adventure or something like that.
Yeah,
that is
so good. Really funny. So so now she's like, oh, okay, I'm gonna take this guy. They walk out instantly. Ghoul's here. And it's like, oh, well, that's not good. He's like, hey, I need this person. And you're like, okay, this is going to be like a speech thing or whatever. He just instantly blows this guy's foot off.
Yeah.
This show is actually very gory.
Yeah. Like the person loses their eye in the first episode.
No, Steph, yeah.
She lost it to a fork.
Yeah, that sucks. But
That's tragic.
This guy gets his foot blasted off, and it was like honestly kind of surprising because first of all, I just thought they were going to talk more, and second, I didn't think that his whole foot would get blown off.
I mean,
but that was exactly, I guess that's how the games are.
And it makes sense. You can't run with the missing foot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty accurate.
So then it just turns into what feels exactly like a Fallout game where everyone in town is just going crazy because someone shot a gun inside. The lady screams that she'll pay anyone who takes out the ghoul, and then he just bodies everyone in town pretty much.
Yeah, his gun is sick too. I love his gun.
It is cool. Man, he destroyed people though. Like he just absolutely wrecked them. But this is one thing that did bother me, that I'm not really a fan of the show for doing this. Ghouls are not supposed to be bulletproof, you know?
Yeah, he felt pretty immortal.
Yeah.
And there are multiple times that ghouls are just like tanks.
Yeah, they kind of changed that a little bit, where they're like able to heal.
Yeah, like ghouls in the games, they're immune to radiation and they don't need to eat. They can eat, but they don't need to. And like sicknesses they're immune to, like non-physical threats, I guess.
Yeah.
But a ghoul will still get killed like a human will by physical attacks, and it did not seem that way in the show.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
So, but then sometimes they did just one-shot ghouls, so it's kind of inconsistent.
Headshots is what it is. Like zombies.
Maybe. So.
Yeah, they kind of went with like zombie logic.
Yeah, I think you're right. So, I mean, I don't love it, but it doesn't ruin the show. So, anyways, then Lucy comes out and is like holding her little tranquilizer gun to this guy, gives him like this be a good person type of speech thing, and he just doesn't care at all.
Her.
Mm. Yeah.
So they blast him, and it does nothing. Because this one makes sense. He's a ghoul.
Yeah,
it wouldn't do
says
anything
that's
to
a
him.
small drop of drugs in a huge ocean or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a good line.
That was a good line. And then he's about to kill her, and then Maximus shows up, and he was so badass when he first showed up. Yeah, it didn't end as a badass, but he started as one.
Yeah.
So then we get a fight. Well, so Maximus saves her. She runs inside, drags footless dude inside.
Exchange of eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's in awe of him.
Yeah, amazed by the Brotherhood. And then he's Maximus is get the guy to safety or whatever. They have a fight outside. Lucy goes inside with the guy. They do this cool thing where they replace his foot by putting it in a meat grinder. That was disgusting, but I loved it.
I think it's a war
that was
thing,
wild.
For soldiers.
Yeah. It was cool. And then we have a fight between the ghoul and Maximus, and honestly, this one was just okay. I felt I don't know. When I get Maximus is not good with the armor, and I'm fine with that, but when he's swinging his punches, they didn't look like they were gonna hit anyways, and he's still dodging, and I was you could have just not dodged, and that wouldn't have hit you.
Yeah.
But yeah, whatever. I get Maximus sucks with the armor because it's his first time. It adds up.
It tracks.
Yeah, they fight for a while, and honestly, when he first showed up, I was dude, Ghoul's kind of fucked here. How does he's shooting the power armor, no damage to it.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing. But actually, I think I've discovered a plot hole here, unless I'm incorrect. Is this the same power armor as the other knights? They all have the same armor, right?
Yeah, it's the T60.
Yeah, at the end, dude is one-shotting these guys. Why did he not do that here?
Maybe he didn't want to.
Maybe he didn't want to.
He would totally want to.
Maybe he didn't need to.
Maybe it was more. It looks like he was toying with him for at least a little while, especially when he ran up the.
Yeah, I guess maybe he was just trying to have fun or something.
Especially when he ran up the staircase and he's like, "How's that cast iron set now?" or something.
Yeah. So maybe he was just having fun. I guess
one dude,
but just saying, he knows.
Especially if you can't even get a punch on him, not much of a threat.
Yeah, I guess he realized that he was he did realize because he's you didn't take the training manual or something like that. So yeah, he did realize he sucked. That makes sense. So they keep going through, fight, whatever. Lucy leaves with new foot guy. They run away.
What's pretty cool
and
is that I don't as they're
up?
walking, they bring it up later, but his foot is still bleeding. You can see the blood dripping down his metal foot and from the hinges and stuff, and it's pretty gross looking.
That shit was wild. That was so wild. I love it. When
everything he's walking, you can hear it smush.
Yeah, it sounds nasty, but it sounds awesome.
So good.
So then we'll speed it up a little. We continue past the town. Dude is hey, I can't walk anymore. It's over for me, right?
Yeah.
This I actually liked because it was dark, but also the good amount of funny. Where he's she's no, we can do it. He's no, we can't. She's why? He's well, I already took
I took the plan B pill.
I was oh damn, this guy's.
I like how he talked about it. He's I think he said it was plan D, and he was oh, this is one of the most humane things Vault-Tec has ever made. Made it banana flavor.
Yeah, a nice little hint. Nice little foreshadowing.
Lucy finds some of that stuff.
Oh my god, yes.
In that
I
one,
totally forgot. That's
in
in episode 2 or something when she's alone still.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was when she was fresh out of the vault.
Yeah, she finds the fact that mom.
Yeah, there's a scene.
Kids.
Yeah, that is a scene right there, and there's another one with Norm that proves to me they know the games, because the thing that Bethesda games are famous for, besides not working, is the storytelling with the world. Elder Scrolls does it, Fallout does it. You walk into a room, you look at what is there, and you're holy shit, this is what happened here.
Yeah, and you see that in that scene when she walks into the house and the family's skeletons are sitting at the dinner table, and all that's on the table is like the
And you
Plan
see the
D,
cups.
like poison stuff.
And you piece it
Yeah.
together.
Even a baby with a bottle.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's so good. And that's how the game is. Like, you walk into these places and look at that stuff, you pick it up, and you're like, God damn.
Mm-hmm.
And then you
Yeah.
take their caps.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, guy's like, you got to get me there. And she's like, how can I get you there? You're going to die. And he's like, just take my head. And he pulls out like a portable saw.
That's a Fallout weapon, though. That's the
No, I
What's
know
it
it
called?
is.
that I loved that. I thought that was so funny
This
that
actually
they
set
brought
up
that
a
in.
pretty funny
What is
joke.
that thing called?
I forget what it's called, but so she goes, okay, I'll do it. And then while this is happening, the fight between the ghoul and Maximus had ended. He basically like shot Maximus's flying control system or something, and Maximus ended up getting launched away, crashing.
Damaging his armor.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Ghoul goes and follows after them. We do get one more. Then we get to the next episode, I think, actually. But there's a good scene that with Maximus when he comes back to town to try
Oh
and
my god, yes.
get his armor fixed.
And he's getting-
I loved this because this is exactly like the game. He's like, how much to fix this? And she gives him a price, whatever it was. And he couldn't afford it. He fails
He fails
a
his speech check.
trying to get it down. Then he goes and sells a tooth to get enough caps. And this, I don't know if this was the point, but this is how I saw it. And then he's like, fix this. And then she instantly fixes it. And he's like, I just got fucking robbed. But the way I see it is like in a game, it instantly happens, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like he clicked on it in the menu and it just instantly got fixed.
Probably a bit of both.
And it
Yeah.
made the same sound too.
It is.
That's how I thought of it,
Pretty
too.
good.
I thought it was funny.
Yeah, it was good. So we get to the Super Duper Mart, I think now, right?
Yeah, I think...
No, we don't. I'm sorry. We get to Lucy is just walking around with a head.
Yeah, she's holding it by his
She's
hair.
going through. Yeah, she's walking around with a head through this desert, going along. She runs across some like crazy guy in his underwear. That's pretty Fallout. Not much happens there. It's kind of funny. Feels like Fallout. And then she moves on. She eventually gets to like this water area.
Mm-hmm.
And this was like this scene also when the ghoul shows up here too, where I was like, the show's great now. Like now it's kicked into gear.
Well,
I loved this.
what I thought was one thing I want to go back and just mention real quick was when Lucy cut off the head. I like the joke they set up with that. When the ghoul came across it, he was like, "What the hell is wrong with this girl?" I don't know.
I thought it was even
When
funnier when
yeah.
the Brotherhood came across it and they
The
held the picture like it's
Yeah,
probably him.
and they were like, "Do you think the ghoul did this or the Vault girl?"
Yeah, of course it was the ghoul.
It was Lucy.
Yeah.
Oh my god. So she's like at this water area. I think she like tries to walk through it or some shit and just gets absolutely
sees a deer.
terrified.
That's when she sees the baby deer.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, deer gets absolutely
Yeah, and the
destroyed.
deer gets destroyed and the head gets stolen. Oh, one thing she did do
Yeah.
is when
Yeah,
she
but
cut
the
the head
giant
off,
mutant
she was like, "This is
axolotl."
pretty important. Let me not lose you." And she stuck a tracker up his nose.
Yes,
Yeah.
she did do that. I forgot about that. Yeah, so now I forget what those things are
It
called.
looks like an axolotl.
I don't remember
Gulpers
either.
or some shit. I think that's what it's supposed to be, but obviously mutated, mixed with you find out later involve
Mhm.
whatever 104 or 4 or something.
4. Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, Thing took the head. She's like, "Fuck," and then eventually the ghoul shows up, and
Where's
he's
the
like,
head?
Where's the head?
"Where's the head?" Yeah, and I loved like it felt like this is what would happen. You know, it wasn't some bullshit of like just being stupid. Like it's like it wasn't like this wouldn't happen. People wouldn't talk like that or whatever. It felt like, yep, this makes sense. He ties her up. Well, she tries to run away, and obviously he's just a badass.
Cowboys
so
her and
nothing to him.
Yeah, he lassos her.
Lassos her, ties her up, brings her back to the water. He's like, Gopper got her or some shit like that. Got hit. And then ties her up and just keeps dropping her into the water.
yeah.
over and over again, nearly drowning her. And what's cool here is like you can see like the effect of like the radiation on her too, because at least in the games, like going in water is so freaking deadly. You just like get so much radiation in the games from going in water.
She gets a lot. She looks sicker like each time she gets in and out of the water.
Yeah, and she starts getting like the bags under her eyes and stuff, and you can tell she's like
and her
has
pit boy's going crazy. And she's like, "Stop torturing me!" And he's like, "I'm not torturing you, you stupid idiot!" And then he drops her again.
Yeah, he's using her as bait.
Grabs this giant anchor, he pulls it out. Well, actually, he can't pull it out. He's like, "Fuck, she's stuck. I guess I'll just do it manually." Pulls this whole thing out. Has it on the freaking ropes right here. This thing looks awesome. It is coolest creature in the show, honestly. There wasn't many, but this was the coolest one, though.
I agree.
What do you guys think?
Yeah.
I like axolotls.
Yeah, so this thing looks terrified. She was obviously terrified, and I thought she did some great acting here with how she was acting. I don't remember what happened. Something happens where the ghoul gets like knocked over for a second. Drops his bag.
I forgot exactly. I think they were just struggling.
Maybe he got hit by the monster or something. So then she's obviously freaking out because this thing
trying
is
to kill her,
grabbing her leg with its finger mouth.
Yeah, its mouth was so gross looking.
Yeah, she throws
beats it up with his bag
into his mouth. Yeah,
and then it felt like those were like, I don't know. For me, like a lot of times I feel like dialogue feels like I'm like I'll buy it, but I don't think people would say that. I think in the back of my mind, but this shit felt like, yeah, that's how I would respond when he was like pissed at her. He's like, because he looks at his bag, all his vials are destroyed, and she's like, "Well, I'm supposed to let you just let it fucking kill me?" Like,
that's true. It felt very natural.
Yeah, like it felt like some good ass dialogue right there, better than the Bethesda games I've had in years.
Maybe they'll hire the show writers for the game.
So I think this is when he's like, guess I got to go on this side quest now, because also another change from the lore. Normally ghouls do not need those vial things to not go feral. It's just like some go feral and some don't. You just got to get lucky.
Yeah, I don't know if that's like if that's what they're saying with that, or if he just thinks that he needs that, or what.
Maybe it keeps him sane.
Yeah, maybe.
No, I know
maybe
this
they changed it. Like they could easily.
But the other ghoul also.
And he even said like, "How do you manage?"
No, because he was
even like
that ghoul had medicine.
I remember the ghoul that was like turning.
He said he was out.
"I'm out," and then he's like, "How did you manage to stay around for so long?" And he's like, "I've always been good at having money."
Yeah. I don't know. They could easily go back and like change it and be like, yeah, it's just.
I mean, they definitely imply
because to become a ghoul, you have to use it.
Yeah, that's a cool thing too. So they like super. The lore gets super confusing because in actual Fallout lore,
apparently,
but now this is actual Fallout lore, so it is canon, but it makes it very confusing because they change a lot of things. Because in Fallout lore. China nuked the US first because they were making super mutants with what is probably in those vials. But in this show, that doesn't seem to be the case. But at the same time,
it's never actually confirmed that Vault-Tec dropped the bomb.
That's what I'm saying. So it could be they were going to, but didn't before China did. So maybe that happened.
Yeah. One thing though, like we're kind of jumping ahead a little bit. When they have that meeting with like the heads of like industry.
Mr. House.
Yeah, Mr. House is there.
Oh my god, I loved that.
Yeah, but they mentioned like, oh, we should do super mutant, or like we should create super mutant humans or something like that. That was a little like of a bit of a lore break too, because China's
that was already happening
by that point. Yeah. Well, I guess the U.S. might not have known about it, so I guess you could always say that.
They were just, it's true.
But, so, anyways, he needs to get more vials. They go on a side quest. He's like, luckily, these things digest slowly. And I'm like, all right, whatever. She's got a tracker in it, so that's reasonable to leave it, I guess. They leave to go get the freaking vials that he needs so he doesn't die. They go to a super duper mart. Loved this part.
Yeah, this was a good part. I liked this one.
especially because super duper marts are always terrifying in Fallout, and this one, perfect.
Yeah,
Just
this
like
one was pretty good though. It was just a legitimate business, selling organs.
Yeah, this was another part that I felt like was a perfect blend between scary, creepy, funny, and just nasty.
Especially the Cogsworth.
Yeah, so they're like he's bringing her through the desert and shit. She's going crazy because she is dying of thirst. She has one shoe. She's hungry. She's a prisoner. She has radiation sickness. He doesn't want to give her water. Eventually, she just drinks out of a puddle.
Yeah.
They finally get to the Super Duper Mart, and she's like, "You're selling me?" And I was like, "Hell yeah, sell her." So she tries to break out one last time, bites his finger off, and I was like, "Damn, I can't believe they just showed that. That was crazy."
Finger off.
Then he cuts her finger off, and I was like, "Damn, they did it twice."
Honestly, that's a very valid reaction to someone biting your finger off. Is just cutting their finger off. We're even.
I do feel like, though, maybe because she's so fucking radiated and sick, she didn't have much of a reaction to losing her finger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he sells her for some vials. She goes in. They're like, "Wait here. We're going to check her and make sure she's in good condition." He's like, "She's in perfect condition." Looks at her finger. Near perfect
Near mint,
condition.
I think he said.
Yeah, well, whatever. So she goes in, and Codsworth comes to her, and he's pretty nice, actually. And she's like, "Wow, he's actually nice."
The ghoul passes out, too, right as she goes in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you could tell he was just trying super hard to not seem like he was about to die.
Yeah, and then Cogsworth, like, "You're missing a finger. You need to get this fixed."
Yeah, just replaces her finger with some random
gray.
finger, which was pretty cool.
And it stays gray for the rest of the show.
Well, I think it's just because I think it was gray just because it was a dead finger, not because it was a gray
I know.
person.
It just is funny. I like how it stayed gray for
It
the
is
rest
cool,
of the show, though. It's a nice detail.
This, like, the whole thing was, like, pretty scary-ish, creepy, and then it gets uncreepy and it gets funny when she's like, "Oh, I thought I was going to be a sex slave." And he's like, "What? That's disgusting."
Yeah, it is. Pretty funny.
I'm just gonna take your organs.
Nice.
She's like, "What?" And then, doesn't look good for her, man. Also, on her way in, there's a bunch of ghouls in, like, containers and stuff.
Yeah.
So, seems pretty cool. We get to see it try and take her organs out. She escapes, mostly only because she has a Pip-Boy, and the Pip-Boy blocks the blade. And then she's able to, like, luckily have it cut her out. And then she just beats it up with some random thing, I think. I can't remember how she actually takes Codsworth down.
She uses the defibrillator.
She hits him with a
and it resets him,
defibrillator.
and then she uses him as the gun to threaten the other two guys.
Yeah. And that leads to a great scene where she, like, looks through. Yeah, she looks through, like, a box of things, and every single, like, she's Braxo, sugar bombs, or some other shit. Like, it's all literally Fallout stuff. Like, nothing in this pile of junk is not from the game, and I was like, that's awesome. Like, that's such a didn't have to happen thing, but I was like, wow, that's so cool.
It's one of the small details that just make it so much better.
She built basically an Abraxo gun.
Yeah, with a Codsworth.
It's funny when she has him read off, like, the description of the product.
Yeah. So she commands these, like, just chill dudes, honestly.
They're organ dealers.
Open all the... Yeah. Obviously, as chill as an organ dealer can be.
They're just watching movies on the couch.
She's like, "Let all these ghouls out. That's fucked up. I know that ghouls are people, too. Even though that one outside's kind of an asshole."
And they let some out.
And then they let out all the ghouls, and she's like, "No, let them all out. But these are feral ghouls. It's Martha, Superman's mother. She's here."
She's like...
So then they let
she
out
doesn't know the difference between the feral ghouls and the regular ghouls.
Yeah, this is... Well, she should, though, actually, now that I think about it, because on their way here, they ran into Cooper's friend, Ghoul, and they saw they had like that whole situation of him going feral, and then he's like, you go crazy, and then he shot him.
I don't think she knew like violent sort of thing. And I think she was trying to rationalize.
Yeah, she never still met a feral ghoul.
Yeah, I guess it was just
like a zombie
implied.
thing.
Yeah, she was
like when you first come across him.
Honestly, that scene was badass too. She was like talking to the guy. I just love Cooper, and then he just shoots him in the head, like no second thought, and then eats his ass.
Oh yeah,
He literally cuts his butt off, and eats it.
That was so disgusting.
Lucy ate it?
Yeah, that was gross.
No, he eats it on camera.
he eats some of it on camera.
Lucy does?
No,
I don't
Lucy
think
doesn't.
Lucy does, but
Pretty
Cooper
sure she
does.
eats off camera, or it's implied.
Oh, I don't know
Maybe.
if she ate it or not.
Maybe.
Anyways, though, so then they let the feral ghouls out, and she's like, yay, they're all free. And then they attack, kill these two guys. But honestly, those guys, they did good. They took out a few ghouls. Only one left. Lucy gets her first kill, Martha, right through the head, after trying to reason with her, though. And I'm like, Lucy, you fool.
Yeah.
I did love it, though. I love watching people be fools. And she kills Martha, and she's so sad. She grabs some of those vials, goes outside, throws them at Cooper, and she's like, I'm still a good person. I'm not going to be like
she was like, treat others how you'd want them to treat you. And then she, because that was like when he was kidnapping her, she was repeating that. And he was like, that doesn't matter. So then when she got free and
yeah.
he helped her, and she repeated it again. And it was like a spite, like a middle finger, essentially.
And then what's also cool is she comes out like looking like the player,
she's bloody.
you know? She's got the freaking the Wanderer outfit on.
Oh yeah, she's got the vault suit like pulled down.
She's fine, like she's converted. She's getting better.
The wasteland's affecting.
And then she's off to go find that head again.
And then the ghoul wakes up.
Then young Koopy goes inside. He is an experienced gamer. He's not going to leave all that loot
Yeah, he
there.
loots the place. Lucy doesn't.
But then he does the most goddamn frustrating thing I've ever seen in my life. Did this bother you guys? He goes in there, opens this box of those vials, this easily carried box.
Oh, and he's
that he could
putting
just
them in
pick
his
up.
hat?
He starts emptying it into his hat.
My you know what bothered me
And
too?
I'm like, bro, just pick up the box.
Is when he just let them fall on the floor and was kicking them around, like quite literally his lifeblood. And I mean, I get like cracking it open and drinking it, like yeah, that's fine. But at least like don't break a vial.
I just couldn't believe that he didn't just grab
what was
the
his plan
goddamn
after that?
box.
Keep it between his hat and his head and hope none fall out between the gaps.
Yeah, right.
Between his hat and his, or like at least fill your pockets so they're not all in your
pull
hat.
Goonies, carry a little pouch with you.
It's just crazy because the box was so small and
Yeah, that's
carryable.
like a perfect thing to have. You can tie a rope around it.
It was just dumb. But anyways, he loots that shit. He's like, hell yeah. And then he sees a little hollow tape and he plays it and it's his movie. It's him with a nose. No way.
Yeah.
And then I think that feeds into a
And then we
flashback.
see like we see like him filming that. And we see that he wasn't always a bad guy. He didn't even want to kill in a movie.
He's like, sheriffs don't
Pretty
kill,
tragic
they
story.
arrest.
It's like, how did he become this? What happened to young Coop?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That episode ends and we move on to this is where I was like that episode I was like, this show's getting good. And here's where I'm like, holy shit, I love this show. We go back to Lucy's Vault. What is the number? 130?
33.
Is it 3 or 2? Which one are they?
It's just 33.
Oh, it's 33.
31
right,
is the...
So we go back there. And at first I was like, do I really want to go back to the Vault? I didn't really like it when we were here before. But holy
the Vault
shit,
story is my
I
second.
think that
It's actually
this-
probably one of my favorite plots.
Yeah, I think it's my favorite part. Like Norm, I love Norm's story.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Norm just starts investigating. He's like, well, first he's pissed. There's a meeting with all the people. They're like, we need to get a new overseer. Like, things are bad. We've captured some of the people who invaded in here. we need to start rehabilitating them. And then it's just a huge talk about how they're gonna turn them into civilians. And then Norm's like, we should kill them.
Yeah, he just drops that bar.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Norm, you're right, my man.
He's like, we should do what they were gonna do to us and kill them. Like, which isn't wrong.
Yeah, I love Norm. And you know what else I like? Norm had a good arc, because at the beginning he like hides, he's scared during like the raid, and at first I was like, wow, what a bitch. But I love that he actually was bothered by that. Like, he mentions, I can't remember who he's talking to, it might have been the overseer, or it might have been his friend, his cousin, I mean.
Yeah.
At some point he's like, I hid during the raid. I'm a coward.
Yeah.
And he's like upset about it. And I love that. I love that it did. I thought that was awesome.
It is cool.
Yeah.
So Norm has now created conflict with some people that agree with him. Steph, cousin guy that I forget the name of. And
I don't remember his name either.
He's
Bert's
like upset that,
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he's upset that no one wants to go get the old overseer, and he's like, it's because they want to be overseer. I
could not stop laughing when Steph was calling the cousin Bert. He just kept saying Bert, Bert, Bert. And all I was thinking about was Bert.
Especially because it's like the dude she was calling Bert wasn't even Bert because he died during the raid.
Yeah.
He was
so we
dead.
just imagine that Bert died during the raid.
It was funny.
Oh, that shit had me dying.
I was also thinking that. I'm like, man, Bert died during the raid.
Oh, that was good.
At least you got Steph for a little, Bert. Had to be an arranged marriage, but
I
whatever.
can take what I can get.
Nice.
Anyways, though, so then Norm starts doing some snooping. I can't remember what the first thing that like puts him off to it is. I think he like checks the history of overseer elections and he sees, weird, every overseer has come from this other
All
vault.
31
is the first thing
and
that
then
I
that
think.
saying.
Yeah. And then he's like, that's so weird. And the saying. What is the saying?
Something like, when in doubt, vote 31 or something like that.
I thought it
Yeah,
rhymed.
something
though.
like that.
What is it? When there's
Whatever.
a crisis.
Doesn't matter. If you think of it, mention it.
I don't know.
Something like
It doesn't
that.
matter. If you think of it, mention it. But man, Norm is awesome. And I did not expect to like him as much as I did, but episodes 4 and 5 really raised it to me because he's going through the terminals. The terminals are so Fallout. Same
Even the
text,
hacking.
same layout of how things are laid
I
out.
mentioned earlier.
That's later, but yes. And eventually it leads to him being like, I need to go to Vault 32, whichever
32.
one was attacked. So him and Bert, replacement Bert, go to Vault 32, and that place is fucked up. Like, there's all these dead people. Oh, you know what? No, I'm sorry. What actually kicked him off to it was they had assigned him to feed the prisoners, which was like his punishment because he hated the prisoners.
They had like cake and stuff.
And one of them's like, those people, he's like, you killed those innocent people. They're like, they weren't innocent. He's like, huh? And that's what made him go check the terminal. And then he's like, oh, I gotta go look in the vault. He goes in the vault. Holy shit, this place is fucked up. And this is the most Fallout feeling part of the whole thing, I think. This is what it feels like when you come across a vault in the games, where you're like,
what happened here?
Going through it, looking at the dead bodies, there's blood on the walls, writing stuff, you're checking terminals to try and figure out what's going on. And Norm is doing that, and it's like, wow, I'm Norm.
He is me and I am him.
It's great.
Yeah.
So something happened that they were trying to get out of the vault that says, I know the truth on the walls. They're all dead. Looks like they killed each other. Some of them were trying to escape. Based on the ending of the show, I'm kind of curious what was the big deal still, because like, yes, it's unfortunate that your purpose was alive, but your life wasn't that bad to where you'd want to like kill each other, you know?
I mean, we don't know what was going on in 32.
So I've heard...
Yeah, I guess 32 could have been different.
I don't
than
know
33.
exactly where I heard this from. But apparently, like, isn't Voltec the whole point is for space travel eventually and colonizing other planets?
That I think got retconned, but the original thing was the Enclave was making the Enclave, which at the time was the U.S. government, because it's the same thing pretty much. Enclave is the remnants of the U.S. government, was anticipating this nuclear war as well, and they were going to go to space to get away from it. And Vault-Tech's purposes, all these original Vault's research was for the space travel thing, like cryogenic freezing, breeding social leaders and things like that. Different tests on how you would have a civilization work in these isolated things to eventually do it in space. But I believe that is not the case anymore. I think that was like Fallout 2, not the case by Fallout 3 or 4 in Vegas or something.
I don't know. Was that one? I mean, it makes sense in this case with Lucy's Vault and stuff, kind of how. And then like maybe Vault 32 just wasn't good, so they had to purge the population, and that's why Vault 33 is moving back in.
Yeah, it could be. Anyways, though, Norm just has an awesome sleuthing episode. It rocks. It was very interesting. The whole time I was like, I love finding out about the Vaults. I love the Vaults. They're so interesting, but I like the bad stuff about the Vaults. I don't like when things are going well in the Vaults. Pretty cool stuff. We move on from there to the point where, so Maximus now, his suit's fixed. He's going after Lucy. He gets called on his radio, and he's like, oh shit, my knight's dead. I can't tell him my knight's dead or they'll be pissed.
It's his fault.
So he tells them he's dead, and they send him a new squire, which was the guy that bullied him.
A skill check.
Honestly, that guy's pretty awesome. Yeah, so they send him the squire. Squire's pretty cool. There's also a brief fight scene earlier on with Maximus and some like just random people trying to steal his armor, which was decent.
That dude's
you remember
head.
that? Yeah,
that was
awesome.
Crazy. That scene was freaking wild.
That was cool. But so Maximus has this new squire, and they're also on the path for the head during the same time that Lucy and Cooper are at the Super Duper Mart. They come across the dead body, like we said. They hold the picture up to it, and they're like, that's probably him, which was funny. The squire's like tracking the ghoul with radiation, which was I was like, yeah, I guess that makes sense. And then Maximus is like, let's just follow the footprints. That was funny too.
Yeah.
Eventually they track it down to like that water area, find the creature that had it,
and
the axolotl,
and then the squire.
And then we realize that Maximus is a better knight than his knight was because he actually tries to save his squire.
Send him to die. He was like, and he even says like, "You're a knight, you can't run." To himself at some point.
Yeah. So then, but the squire still gets attacked, nearly killed. Maximus saves him though, grabs the anchor hook thing that was in it, and like rips the whole creature's guts out. It was crazy.
Yeah, that was crazy. Ripped out its stomach.
And they found the head.
That was pretty cool. And then they had a hilarious scene with them celebrating. They're like, the head, yes. That was so good. I kind of wish it lasted longer, that time of the two of them, because that was good.
Yeah, I definitely agree. That was so funny.
I loved the two of them. So anyways, now they have the head. Lucy's on her way back to try and get to the head. So the head has switched hands. Cooper, I guess, he's still in the Super
he still wants the
at
head too, but he's just in the market right now.
Yeah,
he's chilling right now.
So we move on to the point where now that they have the head, they're gonna call the Brotherhood, and obviously Maximus does not want to call the Brotherhood. That could be bad. He's like, but does anything else happen, or does he tell him right now?
He gets branded. They're having like a moment around the fire, and he's like,
he brands him,
and he asks him about him, which was a good moment.
And he's like, did you know the the previous squire or whatever. And he's like, yeah, I
Which was
bullied him.
Yeah. And you find out that he didn't actually hate him. He just bullied him because he didn't want to get bullied, and that he felt bad about it.
Yeah, he's like, too bad he didn't live long enough to get another squire that we could have
bully
bullied.
someone else.
It only seems fair.
So it makes you
Sounds
feel
like
bad.
your typical
It was
hazing.
a nice, oddly warming moment between the two of them.
I really liked that guy more than I thought I was
liked him a
going
lot.
to.
He goes through a
Sad
lot
how
of
he
shit
ended.
too.
Yeah, I feel bad for him. Next season, he's going to be
Then
fucked
he gets
up.
branded.
And then Maximus is like, I got to tell you, I'm Maximus. And then he goes,
He betrayed the Brotherhood.
They get into a fight. Maximus destroys this
Dude,
guy's foot.
The fact
Not on
that
purpose, I don't think.
the Squire was able to beat Maximus, very embarrassing. And an escape.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
right.
pretty
Dude was
bad.
just actually weaving his leg between his legs like a
But
rat.
I guess Maximus wasn't
Kill
trying
him.
to
No, he was trying to kill
fight
him.
fully. I don't think he
I
was
think
trying
he
to kill
was.
him.
I think once he's trying to start running away
Maybe.
and he's like, I'm going to tell on you. He was like, all right, I got to kill you now.
Yeah, you might be right. But Squire has the key to remove his power core. He steals his power core and leaves Maximus there to die.
Yeah, which is honestly, after trying to kill him, kind of deserved.
Somehow,
And that would
dude,
be such a shitty way to like die. You're just stuck
Can't
in your
yeah.
armor, like in a
yeah,
tin
they
can,
should
basically.
really put an emergency release on that.
How would you move to pull it?
With your tongue.
Yeah, you would have to have it within mouth reach.
So, also that guy, he manages great with his fucked
Dude,
up
especially
foot
when he
somehow.
like
He
when they
goes a
reveal the
long way.
foot and how damaged it was.
How do you put the sock back on with the toe hanging like
Dude,
that? It
would
doesn't
hurt
make
so
sense.
bad. It was like the sock would pull it off. I feel like, or pull it up.
Yeah, it was nasty. His foot was.
It was
disgusting.
destroyed. It was
Yeah,
shredded.
that was fucked up.
Yeah. God. So then we get to another point where people just coincidentally run into each other. Lucy is in this massive city tracking the head, which is not even there. And she's like, oh, look, I came across Maximus.
What if it's like, I don't know, maybe the distance they were like walking away from Lucy, it was
Who knows?
happened to work out.
But she comes across Maximus. Well, first we get a pretty cool scene as she's coming across Maximus where he's like stuck in there.
I thought
Sweaty
Lucy
and
ended up there
disgusting.
because she was
Yeah,
tracking
but he was
the head.
long gone.
The head wasn't there.
Unless if it's like
Yeah, but maybe it's like
wouldn't
following
you
the
just
path.
skip
Yeah,
to this most
That's how I
recent
thought.
point on the path though? Why would you go to where it was?
But she came from the way that the guy left.
I don't know.
Maybe that was just some weird
Whatever. It's not a
film
big
issue.
deal. So Maximus looks like he's fucking gonna die. Does not look good for him. And then rad roaches close in
Yeah,
on
man.
him. Rad roaches are the most common enemy in this show.
Yeah, well, they are everywhere.
And it's like, damn, it's over for him. Then Lucy shows up, bang, bang, I saved you. And she's like, are you that knight? He's like, yeah, I'm that knight. What of it?
Yeah, well, she's
She's like, oh, you know.
she's not very trusting of him.
She's what?
She's like, a lot of like everyone
is fair.
I've tried to trust has betrayed me, so I'm not very trusting of you.
Yeah, and you can tell that she is fucking dying of radiation. And he's like, she starts vomiting. He's like, you need some Rad-X.
Yeah.
Some rat away.
Yes, Rad-Away. She should have taken Rad-X earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, I have some. It's in my arm, but you can't get it because I'm trapped. Free me.
He's like, how do I know I can trust you? And he's like, if we both die.
You can't. Yeah, we'll both die. So she frees him, saves her. They're both saved.
He
Well, he
passes
passes out. She passes out, yeah, sorry. But he still saves her. And then she's like, wow,
I can
you're
trust
pretty
you
nice.
because you
Thank
saved
you.
me.
And then she's like, who are you? And then he's like, I'm going to lie again. But luckily, oh my God, this is probably one of the most toxic things I hate in shows. When someone lies to someone, I don't care about that. But then you have that part later on where they're like, you lied to me. I'll never trust you again. But that doesn't happen in this, thank God.
Yeah, that's such a trope,
Yeah,
like a movie
really
and TV trope. I'm glad that they skipped over that.
I thought they were setting that up, and so I was like, fuck, why'd you say that, man? Now we're going to have that dumb scene where you two stop being friends towards the end of the season just to reunite. But they don't do it. So now these two are together, and it's like, oh yeah, they're a group. Squire has the head. So they go tracking after the Squire eventually. This scene was freaking awesome. Another top scene. Eventually they get to a bridge.
You remember the bridge was scene? Actually such a cool one.
Yeah.
They needed more scenes like that. I loved that scene. So they come to this bridge and there's these two people on the other side and it's like this standoff. They're like, you armed? No. She's like, we are armed. He's like, so are they. This is like the first time that you actually see Maximus like profiting. He's like actually a badass. He's not just getting his ass beat.
He's not profiting. He's just competent.
Yeah. And it's cool because now she's like, you can see more of her like not understanding. And she just has stupid ideas.
People.
Yeah. So she's like, oh, let's just all raise our hands and cross the bridge. So they all do that. They're walking across, and then as they're like right next to each other, passing by, everything breaks out. Everyone pulls for their guns. Maximus grabs hers, and he quick draws pretty nice here. Dude used fats.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, he does take a bullet though. Well, not really a bullet.
Tooth.
Yeah,
so
pretty clever use of ammunition.
Actually, going back, remember when they were setting the ghoul free, and the dude got just killed with like doll parts?
Yeah, the junk launcher or whatever it's called.
That was awesome.
Love that thing. I actually love that aside from the Brotherhood and like larger factions like the NCR, like the random people in the world are not using real guns.
Bullets and weapons and stuff. It's very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very Fallout-ish.
So it keeps moving along. They keep traveling. They come across Shady Sands. You guys know Shady Sands?
What used to be Shady Sands?
Then for like the 20th time, we get this flashback of Maximus.
Oh, yeah.
Dude had his fridge flashback like every episode.
When he was a kid?
He was pulling a Naruto swing.
Honestly. Yeah,
So they had a conversation as they're going where she's like, so what happened in the last 200 years?
At this point, Lucy's starting to realize that the vault history that she knew is very different than the outside history. Oh, there's a gap.
She only knows up until the bombs dropped.
Obviously, there's a fucking gap. She's been in a vault for 200 years.
So she's like, so what happened after the bombs dropped? And he's like, well, I was there. And she's like, that's impossible. And they're talking about different bombs. So that's why the confusion comes from. And that's when they come, across Shady Sands. But also, just saying, you see a lot of Sunset Sarsaparilla billboards, which is pretty cool. Like leading you. It's like hinting that you're about to see some New Vegas shit, you know?
I saw somewhere online that season 2 will probably be in New Vegas.
I mean,
really, Bert?
Look at the end. Did you watch
the last episode? Did you not watch the end of the show?
You're so dumb. Anyway.
Yeah, I think season 2 might be something to do with New Vegas. They did literally show it.
The guy's in
Just
New Vegas.
Good God.
So they come across Shady Sands, and it's been destroyed. And she's like, whoa, that's crazy. Then she sees a billboard, and she's like, what the hell? This had a huge population. And she realizes that apparently Reclamation Day happened without her. Unfortunate. She realizes her whole life might be a lie, and it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Pretty much.
And then she also is like, but how did it get destroyed? So...
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of it. Should I save this to the end? I think I'll save it to the end. Anyway, so we continue. They see Shady Sands is fucked up, and then Maximus starts like dying because it turns out he is not as much of a tank as we thought, and that tooth is killing him.
Yeah, I mean that shit's got to be infected.
Yeah,
it's a freaking tooth.
She's like, let's go to this hospital. There's probably something in there. They fall into a vault. This was the weakest episode for me. Anyone else want to explain it? Because I'm getting tired of talking.
I can. So they fall in the vault, and it's like a quarantine facility, pretty much. And Lucy's all happy that she's in the vault. She's like, we're safe. We're finally safe. And
I didn't like this episode at all. Like,
this was my least favorite. Either.
So then,
which sucks because 4 and 5, I was like, wow, this like every episode of the show, I was like, it's getting better. Every one, like these last 2 with the vault stuff.
It was all rising. And
also, just another thing at the end of 5, there's a moment where Norm hacks the overseer's terminal or some shit at some point. No, sorry, they look at the terminal in Vault 32, and it's like, what? The vault door was opened from the outside by my mother's Pip-Boy.
Oh yeah, that's what it was.
And then that's how that ends. So that's where we are. They've investigated. They found out someone opened the vault from the outside. Apparently it was his mom's Pip-Boy. Not good. Back to Lucy. Falls in a vault. Mm-hmm. Different vault.
And continue. Some doctors have...
We do get a small flashback, though, at the beginning of this of Cooper doing commercials for Vault
he's like doing a sponsorship for them and being like, buy your spot today. Pretty much. Is that it?
Yeah.
What is kind of cool is they kind of canonized the origin of Vault Boy.
Yeah, it was Cooper. He did the thumbs up the first time.
He's Vault Boy.
Which is pretty cool.
The OG Vault Boy.
So, in the vault, the doctors come and sees that he has a gunshot wound. It's like, we're here to help, pretty much. Right? The tooth. And they're like, you can't. Like, they want to leave after he gets patched up. You need to stay for a little while. And Lucy's very understanding and listening. And he's like, no, we need to leave. She's like, they're Vault Tech doctors. Relax. We're fine here.
They're not Vault Tech. They're just Vault.
We're fine. So, what is it? They get comfy. I'm trying to remember. Yeah, I kind of need some.
Lucy asks him to fuck.
Yeah. I forgot about that.
That was too cringe for me, first part.
Yeah, I don't remember all the little conversations. I'm not going to lie.
She's like, do you want to fuck? He's like, we can't in the Brotherhood. We don't know how to come or some shit like that.
He said his dick's going to explode like a pimple.
Yeah, that was gross. So, inside the vault, they're waiting. I'm trying to forget like how it actually happens. Thank you.
All right, I'll do it. So they are like left in their thing. People are like, you're quarantined just until we check. Shows that they're actually test subjects, but
which was stupid because that was never brought up again.
Because it was just their quarantine room is the old test subject room.
Yeah, but still, they made it seem like that was going to be a thing, and it
they did a big fake out here, which was dumb. It would have been better if it wasn't a fake out. But so then they go to like lunch or meal time or whatever. Cooper's amazed by how this place is so nice, but he still doesn't trust them.
Not Cooper, Maximus.
That's what I meant, Maximus. And then Lucy's eating. The overseer comes to see them. He's like, hi, I'm the overseer. Dude's got one eye, kind of weird. That's when Lucy's like, what the hell? They can't be from a vault. This was
crazy. This guy's jokes, though, were actually pretty good. I did like his.
Yeah, he was funny. And he's like, yeah, do this, do that. Just giving them the basic rundown, but don't go to level 12 or whatever number it is. I don't remember.
Yeah, it's 12.
And he's like, okay, bye. Then he leaves. This was funny, I thought, when Lucy's like, did you see that guy? He's like, yeah. She's like, he's got one eye. He's like, lots of people got one eye. She's like, but it was in the middle. He's like, guess it was kind of to the left. I thought that was funny. I liked that.
Yeah, I did like that one.
So then Maximus goes looking around, finds their fusion core. He's like, I'm going to steal that. They literally see him trying to steal it, but don't care for some reason. They're like, let's just go do something else.
In
Here's
Fallout,
your own
they
room.
only care if you actually grab the item.
Yeah, I guess, right?
They don't care where you are as long as it's at a restricted area.
That adds up, actually. So then they give him his own room, and he realizes life rocks in a vault. He's eating oysters, shell, and everything.
Caviar and oysters and popcorn.
Oysters are already disgusting, but dude was munching on the shell.
feel like after eating surface food your whole life, anything would taste better.
Yeah, I guess. So he is chilling in his own room, took his first hot shower, just relaxing, watching a waterfall gif or some
nature
shit.
documentary.
And then we get Lucy, right? She's like, these people can't be from a vault because they're radiated and all fucked up. People have noses on their foreheads. This guy's got one eye.
Guy has an ear on his head.
Yeah.
Like on top of it.
She's like, I'm going to go look at level 12. She goes to level 12 and I was like, ooh, it's getting interesting. More vault stuff. This is nice. She sees all these terrible things of like human experiments, dead things, just cryo tubes and stuff like that. She's like, what the fuck? This is crazy. Watches a holotape of someone seemingly being tortured.
Remember, it's a holotape of some lady giving birth to like piranhas that eat her.
Oh my god, that was so fucked.
Uncomfortable
that
to watch.
Was so gross.
That was fucked.
So anyways, so she does all that.
And but I liked that. That was one of the better horror moments.
I liked that. Then they come in and see her, and she's like, "Oh no!" And she picks a fight. Turns out, it wasn't actually bad. They're like, "Oh yeah, that's what the vault was like before we got here. They used to experiment on people, but we all are refugees from Shady Sands after it got nuked. That's why we're all radiated and shit. And we found this vault." But that's what they used to do before. So then you find out, oh, so we missed the good part. I thought there was a
rebellion.
Yeah.
And the current residents
there was.
of the
it
vault
was a rebellion.
Were like the descendants of the rebellion.
The people that were getting experimented.
Because the axolotl monster was
he has that comment.
Like aunt or uncle or something. Yeah. I forgot exactly what.
He's like, you're right. It's like my great Uncle Todd or something like that.
Yeah. So they and some of them, and they accept the refugees from Shady Sands was what it was.
Yeah.
Because they're open to anyone that needs help.
So, like, I guess it would have been fine if it wasn't a whole episode. Because I could see something like that happening in a Fallout game, but it wouldn't, like, blue ball you into thinking it's dark first, you know?
Yeah, that's what I didn't like either.
Like, they were,
like, if they would have just come across the vault and from the beginning they're like, yeah, this happened, you'd be like, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, and I feel like it didn't add anything to the greater story either. It was such, like, a side note kind of thing that happened.
That's
like,
what
it didn't keep building.
Yeah, it didn't. That's why, Bert, tell me what you think about this, but that's why I think they could have still done it. They should have just had people be like, yep, this happened when she was like asking questions about what's on level 12 or whatever.
Been like, right? Oh, that's our ancestors. Or
then you'd be like, wow, that's crazy. In like a 20-minute span, 20 minutes, clean up, boom, 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 done. And we saw a vault where like, that's crazy. Then you get to see like, oh wow, this vault had a bad past.
And Lucy could have been like, damn, vault's
not good.
Not good?
Exactly, yes.
Could have done a lot.
Yeah.
So I think that would have improved it if it just wrapped up quick and then maybe give us a little more Cooper time because he disappears for like a couple episodes.
He does actually. Just thought about that.
The main purpose of this episode was basically Lucy finding out that vaults are bad sometimes, and that could have been done way faster, and they didn't have to bait you.
Yeah, or just go in on the bait and really just
or just make it actually bad.
Yeah,
either one would have worked, but instead you're like, oh, it's getting good, and then they're like,
then even when like they were gonna like execute her, they didn't. Like, remember?
Yeah, they banished her.
Like, I didn't like this joke either. It's like, we're gonna sentence you to death. It was like
2 teases in an episode.
Banishment.
Like, come on.
Yeah.
You can't show a puppy being thrown into a furnace and then do this.
It really just felt like
here's 2 weeks of supplies, so you'll be okay.
What the hell?
It did. It felt like a filler episode with the only change in the story being that Maximus was no longer shot in the arm.
Oh, and they were sexually interested in each other.
Yeah, we did get that one. At least we got the one good scene of Maximus when she like came to try and be like, Maximus, we got to get out of here for a second when she thought it was bad. He's like, what did he say? You want to make my cock explode?
Is it time to make my cock explode now or something like that?
That was funny.
That made me audibly laugh when I heard it.
Like I said, the vault stuff could have been pulled down to like 20 minutes.
Yeah, and they were weirdly funny.
Yeah.
We're trying to be funny with them. I don't know. I found the
Yeah, I
bolt
didn't like
blowers
it.
like just written weird.
Yeah, I didn't like it that much. Then we get back to it takes a little bit to get going, but then it eventually gets good again. So we get to this episode 7. First half is about the Squire, but honestly, I like him more with Maximus. He was all right. I didn't dislike it, but he's just going through the wasteland. That's when we're seeing his fucked up foot. Meets the chicken fucker from the beginning of the show that we forgot to mention. Maximus saves a chicken fucker.
And then he's like offers the Squire help.
Yeah, he's like, I'll heal you. Turns the Squire into a ghoul, which
I thought this guy was going to have like snake oil or something. Like I did not expect him to actually
like some
heal him.
werewolf thing.
Yeah, also like it's confusing. Guy was about to kill himself and he's like, let me take a break from killing myself to fuck someone over real quick.
Yeah, well, he got like the fusion core out of it.
And that's the difference. Like now he doesn't want to kill himself because he has a fusion core.
No, he's going to have a lot of money.
Buy more of the life enhancing or life extending drug.
Yeah, I guess. Hopefully it's cool in the end because I'm kind of upset about like I wish he didn't become a ghoul.
I think that was a way to make him reappear in season 2.
Yeah, hopefully he gets more time with Maximus in season 2 because I loved when they were together. And now, but now it's like impossible. Like he can never be seen by the Brotherhood. They hate ghouls. They just shoot on sight any ghoul.
Yeah. But him and Maximus get along. Now.
Maximus doesn't control the whole Brotherhood.
Who knows?
Anyway, so this dude still has the head, goes to a radio post. We see some Galaxy News radio teasings, which was pretty cool. Even though he doesn't go to Galaxy News, but there's like signs and stuff for it.
Yeah, well, throughout the show, they
that was
mentioned
cool. I liked that.
Station, how they don't accept visitors and stuff.
Weird, though, that Galaxy News I guess it must be a fucking massive radio station because as far as I know, I don't listen to radio in real life, but isn't radio stations regional?
I mean, it could be like a TV thing. Like you
Yeah, it could just be Galaxy News, not necessarily the radio. Okay. Thing is, where Galaxy News is in DC, on the other side of the country.
No, you can have... Well, also, too, if you think about it, it's a wasteland. There's no buildings. There's not a lot of interference. I'm sure radio would go a lot further.
Yeah.
I guess. It also could be that pre-war Galaxy News was there, and now Galaxy News is only in DC after the bombs.
Yeah, maybe.
Who knows? Anyways, though, the guy goes to a radio station, contacts the Brotherhood, gets them to come. Lucy and Max come up on him right as the Brotherhood's pulling up. He gets shot in the neck with an arrow, which would kill a ghoul in the game, but whatever. He survives, and they're like, damn, bro, I think you're a ghoul. He's like, fuck, I'm a ghoul. I gotta get out of here. The Brotherhood will kill me. But you can't die. So he gets out of there. Lucy's like, we can't give them the head. And Maximus just grabs a random head to give to them, and he's like, I'll distract them. You run away. So she goes away. He gives them the random head. They take him with them. He goes back to like the Brotherhood area. Actually, they go back to that town for some reason, not the Brotherhood area.
Oh, yeah. Was they're invading it or something?
Yeah, I guess they've like locked it down now. So he's there. They're looking at the head. They're like, bro, this isn't the head. They're about to kill him. He's like, wait, I'll take you to the head. I'm sorry. And they're like, all right, fine. We'll trust you this last time. So now Lucy...
Yeah, well, his friend vouches for him, too.
Oh, yeah.
Admits that she...
hurt herself.
Put the razor in her own boot, Yeah.
So then they move along to... Lucy shows up at the Moldaver place that they put in her map a million years ago. She finally made it with the head.
It was an NCR base.
Yeah, so they finally made it there. What's his name? Maximus is with the Brotherhood on their way after them. And Cooper wakes up finally a million years later in the Super Duper Mart still. Some people pull up on him.
Yeah, some sheriffs.
Yeah, I didn't really understand who they were. Maybe I just missed it. But like, so they pull him away, take
They're
him
the government.
in, but like a new government.
It's more like a one-man show.
So they're just themselves. They pretending to be the government, pretty much.
I mean, yeah. It was like one guy that was running the whole thing.
Of what? That town that they were in?
I guess. He called himself the president.
But I wasn't sure where he was from. Like, he just...
I mean, we didn't really see, but it was like implied that he's like in control of something. Like he's got enough power that he's like has police and something. So, I mean, I don't know.
But he's not like a known Fallout faction. He's just like a faction in the area.
Yeah.
Okay. So he gets Cooper and they're like, you shot up that town. You killed a lot of people that... Because this guy's acting like he's a police officer or whatever, or a president. And they're like, we're going to have to take you out back. So they're going to kill him. And then Cooper's like, nah, kills all them. There was a
Cooper
cool
takes
scene,
credit,
though.
so they don't think it's the Vault girl.
What?
There was a part where he like took credit for it all. For the crimes. Like, stuff that...
Of what?
Mind.
Of killing everyone in the Super Duper Mart. What do you mean?
Oh, yeah, that. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, like, yes, that there was that. Also, Lucy didn't do that. It was ghouls. But I'm talking about the town. They're like, you shot up that town.
Yeah.
And there was a cool scene here where, like, one of the police officers was like, my dad lived in that town. I just like the dialogue between them where he's like,
Daddy was a coward.
Your dad, he's either dead or a coward. And he's like, which are you? It was a cool, like, standoff between them right there.
Bait.
Yeah.
Then they took the guy's gun away, and then Cooper bodied them all and shot some guy in the ass or something, in the dick.
I think it was in the dick.
That's rough, buddy.
Yeah.
Rough one.
So he breaks out of that, pretty pointless, and then is also on his way. So now everyone's on their way to this NCR Moldaver place. And we get to the final episode. You guys remember this one, right?
Yeah. We got to see NCR Ranger armor. That was cool.
Oh, yeah, that scene with... That was a good scene, actually. Cooper on his way finding them. I guess because he needed to know where... Yeah, he was trying to find out where Moldaver is, so he goes to, like, this family farm.
Yeah, he went on a little fetch quest.
I guess this kid knew about them, like his brother was in the NCR or some shit related to that or something. He gets the information on where to go, but it was cool, like the tension in that room, and then Cooper just bodies that family.
Yeah, I mean the kid didn't really give him a choice.
Yeah, but it was still cool.
Yeah.
So then, everyone's on their way there. Lucy pulls up with the head. They let her in. She pulls in. She sees her dad in the cage. She's like, oh my god, it's my dad. There's some ghoul on the table. It's like, huh, weird. And then lady's there. She's like, I got the head. I want my dad. Let me out of here. And she's like, all right, but don't you want to know why he's here?
Don't listen, Lucy.
And honestly, great twist.
Yeah, me too.
I liked it.
Yeah. We also get like some of the flashback scenes of Cooper when he's like spying on his wife, which Walter Goggins, that's the actor that plays him, like he carries so hard in these scenes. That scene where he's in the where it gets revealed that Lucy's dad is has been around. He's like a Vault Tech employee.
Oh yeah, and he's crying.
Like, yeah, that scene.
Is he just what he heard from his wife?
Yeah, that scene. He is so good in that scene.
Yeah, because like, yeah, he's like skeptical of his wife because he started going to like meetings. This is in the past about like how Vault Tech might be bad, and he's like listening in on their big board meeting, and that board meeting had a ton of references to like Fallout games.
Yeah.
It had like big companies, the people from those big companies, like we said, Mr. House, that was an awesome one. There's a reference to a Fallout New Vegas DLC, like very randomly, which is pretty cool.
It is cool.
Yeah.
The Dead Money DLC, did you get that one?
Who was that? The West Tech people?
Mr. House says to the one guy that he's like, you couldn't make money running a casino. Like referencing the Dead Money DLC.
Oh, gotcha.
Which, like, what a crazy reference to, like, reference a DLC, you know?
It's pretty cool, though. Especially if you know.
Yeah, and just my guess here, guys. Mr. House looks like he's gonna be the main threat.
I don't know if he's gonna be the main threat.
It really seems like they're building him up, though.
I mean, he barely had anything to do in this.
Yeah, but with how it ends, and with the fact that, like, he is in Fallout lore, and also somewhat showed in this, but not as much. Like, the guy who was like, let's not bomb the world, I have other plans to fuck up the world.
Yeah. I don't think he's going to be the main threat. I think Vault-Tec is still kind of like the main bad right now. And there's still that shady person that was up in like the balcony, like in the shadows, that we don't know who that was.
Yeah, the things I've heard around the net is that is the US Gov, enclave people, which is like their like connection to Vault-Tec with the space travel thing that Bert was mentioning.
Okay.
Okay.
Possibly. But yeah, who knows?
Yeah. But we get like a big fight scene between the NCR and the Brotherhood. The Brotherhood shows up on their vertibirds and
that was
storms
honestly
the NCR place.
At least the vertibirds, like, I think that's when the Fallout music played right there. I'm pretty sure, right?
It plays in the
at the end with New Vegas. It does.
No, but it plays before that. I think it does in like it might be in one of the flashbacks. I think it does.
I think it's when she says, because she says the thing. That's when it plays.
She says war. War never changes.
Yeah, and then it plays. I was literally watching. I'm like, she's going to say the thing.
Yeah, I think it was then that it played.
But I loved the scene of the Brotherhood, like, actually assaulting. So it's no longer just we have one guy here. Like, they're actually pulling up on this place.
Yeah, they sent so many people in power armor too.
Like seeing the vertibirds pull up and like a couple of them get shot down, a bunch of power armor goes in, and they just destroy. Not even a challenge for them. It was awesome.
They really do.
Yeah, the power armor is pretty strong.
So they just pull up, big fight, they're taking people out. Meanwhile, Lucy's up talking to like the main people. This is actually before the Brotherhood pulled up, but we get some reveals here, which were good. I liked them. We find out that apparently Lucy had left the vault before. Very, very Fallout 3, this story, dude. Like, so Fallout 3. Looking for your dad. You've left the vault before, but you were so young you didn't know.
Yeah.
People outside the vault know you. You're trying to give power to the world instead of water to the world.
Yeah.
This show is Fallout 3, just saying.
Yeah.
So you find out that thing is like this nuclear fission. I don't remember. Tell me.
Fusion. And
it can
it's
help.
Cold fusion, not nuclear.
Cold fusion, sorry. And it'll help power things without nuclear power, infinite power, free power for people. Vault-Tec stole it and hid it because they didn't want not nuclear power. And that's where like this whole thing comes from. Now they're trying to get it back.
I don't know if we know that Vault-Tec hit it, but
they said Vault-Tec bought it and made it proprietary.
Oh yeah, it does say Vault-Tec on it too. I'm thinking more of like in the current time, like because it was with the Enclave.
Oh yeah, I don't know about current time, but
yeah,
that was the
right.
original way it was lost.
Yeah.
Then Lucy's like, "What the hell?" And then she's like, "And your dad is with Vault-Tec."
That was a wild reveal.
He was your whole vault was him experimenting on you. And meanwhile, we also are seeing Norm. He hacks the Overseer's terminal in the exact hacking of Fallout. Pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Except he gets it first try. That would never happen.
Yeah, it turns out all the Overseers of Vault 33 have all came from 31, and it's because the people in 31 are just cryogenically frozen. And they're all from before the bombs dropped. They're all Vault-Tec, like especially trained to be like
Vault-Tec managers. Honestly,
yeah.
for me, kind of disappointing that their vault wasn't more fucked up. I was like really expecting a big, like, your vault is fucked up, but really they're just training managers.
Yeah, buds.
You know, like not a huge deal. They're just managers.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's still like unfortunate for her. She finds out her whole life's a lie and they're like, what? So
but we do get a lot of those reveals, which is cool.
Was pretty cool.
So her dad was alive before the war. Apparently, her mom found out that people were alive above the surface and that they were all being lied to because, like, some of their water was being siphoned or something. So she went out and took the children to Shady Sands. And she's like, look, let's rebuild the world like everyone was saying. And the dad was like, no. And then nuked that place somehow. Not sure where he got the nuke.
Yeah, I'm sure Vault Tech probably had something going on.
Yeah, so...
But yeah, then turns out that they're the ones that bombed Shady Sands. And
honestly, her acting was crazy here because of her, like, she, like, the shocked, like, no words. It was so good.
Yeah, I agree.
So you find out her dad destroyed the freaking biggest civilization population, capital of the NCR.
Yeah, talk about a big pill to swallow.
And,
yeah.
And then he's like, well, what about my mom? And then they're like, that ghoul is her. And it's like, fuck, man, this just keeps getting worse.
Mm-hmm.
That was honestly, like, devastating. I was like, oh, fuck, that's crazy.
Imagine, like, thinking your mom's dead, but she's actually just a skeleton, pretty much. Alive still. Not really.
And then Maximus shows up and frees her dad, but she's kind of like in shock, and she's like, no, we can't take him with. And then
he takes Maximus's power armor.
Yeah. And she explains that he was behind Shady Sands, and then he knocks out Maximus.
What I loved, actually, more of like in terms of the filming, I guess, than anything else, I love how it didn't work out for Maximus. I hated seeing Maximus's flashback for the 20th time, but Lucy's I didn't mind seeing a few times because I like how, like, we're seeing it, and then eventually it's like, holy shit, it's not what we thought. I liked that a lot.
It was pretty good.
I thought that was cool where they expanded on her flashback, and she was like, oh my god, I have been outside the vault. I have seen the sun. She even
mentioned it earlier.
My mom
she was like, yeah, after my mom died, the sun stopped feeling warm.
She's like, I used to think it was the real sun. Yeah. Wow, it was so good. That great foreshadowing.
Yeah, that was good.
So her whole world's been destroyed. Meanwhile, Norm discovers Bud's. His world is being destroyed, he realized. And he gets locked in there with Bud's, so he might need to cryo-freeze himself, they're saying.
Yeah, unless somebody comes and finds him.
Yeah. But Lucy will be back eventually.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much where it ends, almost. Then, last 5 minutes of the show, freaking Cooper busts in when it seems like, what's her name? Lucy's dad is gonna is he gonna kill her? It really looks like he was gonna kill her.
Yeah, to keep the secret.
Yeah, either kill her or like force her to come with.
Yeah, he's like, I can't let you stop this or whatever. Or he tries to explain to her that, like, he was trying to just keep them safe and keep the vault safe, which, like, yeah, I guess, but you bodied a few people,
you killed a whole city.
Yeah, and Shady Sands had like 34,000 people.
Yeah, then Cooper comes in and he's like, where's my fucking family? Which, honestly, I liked that twist. It's kind of a twist. To me, it was a twist because I did not think he was looking for his family. I thought he was just trying to make money or some shit.
Yeah.
I didn't realize he had a goal. And when he finally came across this guy that he knew was connected to it, he's like, finally.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
There's a lot of foreshadowing in this show, too. Like, everyone hearing Lucy's name that would have known her dad was from pre-war, like, would hear her name.
I mean, the only person that would know is Cooper. He did.
Moldaver knew.
Yeah, but Moldaver is also from that time.
So is Cooper.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's only like 2 people that would have known that.
No, I'm just saying there's a lot of foreshadowing, not specifically that, but like also the sun thing Bert was talking about.
Yeah.
But I love foreshadowing because then looking back, you're like, holy shit, that's cool.
Yeah. But yeah, Cooper shows up and shoots her dad in the face without killing him.
Yeah, grazes him, and then he flies away.
And then he gives Lucy the option to either come with him and track down her dad and get the answers that she wants,
by the Brotherhood.
And stay and get killed by the Brotherhood. So she's forced to say goodbye to Maximus, who's been knocked unconscious, and she has to leave him there. And decides to go with Cooper.
And then there's a small scene of Maximus wakes up, and Moldaver comes back, and she's like activating the power, and like the whole wasteland in the area gets powered up, and he's like, holy shit. And she sees she's shot, and she dies there, like asking, really puts like this moral dilemma in his hands, like, is he gonna try and help give power to the wasteland, or is he gonna let the Brotherhood take more technology?
Yeah, because what would she asked the question, what would the Brotherhood do with unlimited power, and could you stop them? Would you stop them,
or would you even try?
Yeah. So, and
I liked that too, because it's really setting, because I feel like Maximus got the short end of the stick in this season for character development, but I do feel like they set him up for a good season of character development.
Yeah. But yeah,
so then they walk in and think he killed her.
Yeah, so he gets like put on a pedestal, and
he's a knight
gonna
now.
have he's gonna have some more sway in the Brotherhood.
Dude,
and
got
some
a
more
Yeah.
promotion.
So then we get the final scene, like the end tag scene with Lucy's dad, like in the power armor with the sun set, and goes over the hill and finds out that we see New Vegas in the back.
Yeah, so here, that's how it ends. Now, I like Fallout games, like I really like them, but I'm not like a lore expert on Fallout, and it's been so long since I've like really dug deep into Fallout lore. So I did like some research before this just to try and remember things after watching the show. And from what I'm seeing, there were two main complaints about the show as far as the lore being insane. Now, personally, I think it's cool that this now expands, like it being canon and actually being good, I think is awesome. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
But there is two things. One, the ghoul thing that we mentioned, kind of weird, but I'll let it pass. And then the second one, right? This is where it gets confusing, is with the NCR. And hopefully this is just an accident and not a thing, because a lot of people are like, they are basically like making New Vegas pointless the whole game, because a lot of things that happened in New Vegas are like conflicting with this show.
Mm-hmm.
For example, in New Vegas, I think you mentioned it earlier, the president of the NCR comes from Shady Sands. Everyone always talks about how Shady Sands is going, but New Vegas takes place after Shady Sands was destroyed in this show.
Yeah, I feel like it's more likely that it was just a mistake, and I think that they'll probably fix it at some point down the road.
Yeah, hopefully, because that's like, but that's like I'm not huge in the Fallout lore, but to me that seems like a big deal. Like that's like making a Halo show where they're attacking Earth and people are saying that Reach is still around.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Like, that's a pretty large mess up, you know?
Yeah.
And then the other... What are you on?
No, go.
The other big one I've seen with people is they're making New Vegas pointless, because in the final scene, you see New Vegas, and the credits go through New Vegas, and New Vegas has been completely destroyed. So everything you did in that game didn't matter, because New Vegas got destroyed after.
I mean, I wouldn't put much stock in what the credits are showing.
The end scene of New Vegas, all the lights are down, the buildings are collapsing.
Yeah, that's in the credits, though. I don't think...
No, not the credits. Where he's looking at New Vegas. It's not lit up or stuff's destroyed.
It's the middle of the day.
It doesn't matter. Like, that's not... Like, it's New Vegas.
I didn't see that. It looked like New Vegas to me.
I'll be honest.
Looked like destroyed New Vegas.
Nah, I think it was fine.
I mean, if it is fine, but I don't see why they would specifically make... Now I'm talking about the credits. I don't see why they would specifically make credits of New Vegas destroyed if it wasn't destroyed.
Maybe it's old Vegas.
I don't know.
No, because it even has like the Mr. House signs and all the signs from the game of like the different places. So the thing is, though, I'm not hating on it because there are ways this could work, right? The other big one being Voltec possibly dropping the bombs. That one I think can be explained with, we still don't know who dropped the bombs. They wanted to, but we don't know if they did. So maybe they didn't, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The date thing, I feel like they just need to come out and say, sorry, we got the date wrong, instead of letting people be like, what the hell? Like, so when did this actually happen? Like, when was Shady Sands bombed? Why is it earlier than people talking about it in Fallout New Vegas, you know? I feel like the only way they can get around that one is like they need to just say, yeah, we got it wrong, throw it forward 5 years or some shit, you know?
Yeah.
But the New Vegas being destroyed thing, very toxic. Just saying.
Yeah.
Especially because like New Vegas, the game, like, and the city, it's like like the whole point of that game is New Vegas is the thing in the world untouched by the wasteland. Like, it's this, there's always these massive lights shining into the sky, day or night. Just saying. There's
you can't see lights during the day. Like, that was my point.
You can in the game.
All right, well, it's not the game.
Well, if that's the case, they shouldn't have power armor because it's not the game. Maybe they'll explain it in a good way. Maybe it actually isn't true, but that would be toxic if New Vegas was just like destroyed off screen.
It would.
Yeah.
Because like Bert, you said you were gonna go play New Vegas, but everything you do in that game doesn't matter because the city's destroyed now. Yeah. You could save New Vegas, you could control New Vegas, you could take over New Vegas, but who cares? Somehow New Vegas was destroyed.
Well, we'll find out in season 2.
Games though.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it can be explained in a good way, and I believe they probably can, based on the rest of the show being pretty decent. I liked the show. It's just that one thing that like
rubs you the wrong way.
You can't really judge it until we see more about it, though. It's like, oh, it has the potential to be like devastating, but I'm leaning more towards that they'll probably make it work. But it's scary to have the potential that they could basically make New Vegas pointless.
That would sting.
Yeah.
But overall, I really liked the show. I think as far as video game adaptations of shows, for me, this is my favorite one. Mostly because it's like the Last of Us, people say is probably better, but I like this more, but I also just like Fallout more than The Last of Us, so that is probably why.
That's fair. I don't know. I don't really have never really played the Fallout games, so I did enjoy the show a lot, and the show's definitely sparked an
What would
you
interest.
guys want to do the final rankings or final scores?
Yeah.
Bert? Probably like an 8.5.
Okay.
I think I'd go with like a 7.
Yeah, I think I'm definitely between 8 and 7. I think I'll go for an 8, but if this New Vegas stuff turns out how I expected, it'll go down. Or how I said. But yeah, this season on its own is an 8.
Okay.
I really liked it. I'm excited to see another season. Besides the Lord of the Rings thing, Amazon's kind of killing it with their shows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vox Machina, The Boys, Invincible, and now Fallout.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's pretty much it for this episode. Unless anybody else has anything that they want to say, I think we'll kind of sign it off.
Yeah.
I think
Thanks
I'm
for
good.
listening.
Yep. Thanks everybody for listening. We will
Keep
see you
salty.
on the next one.